Okay. Ba-dum. Right. Good morning, everyone. Let me bring this down here. All right. Good morning. This is a podcast. This subject's gonna be a subject matter which is close to my heart. I put the feelers out the other day on social media. Basically, yeah, stories of looking after a loved one, past and present, because my mum passed away in April. But during my course of looking after my mum, over the last several years, 2-3 years, during the first lockdown, her condition deteriorated. It just got worse and worse as lockdown went through. Anyway, so you're talking with individuals and you realize that there's plenty more of us, plenty more of us, especially. You've frozen my screen. Yeah, plenty more of us who've got stories to tell. So this is what this is about. So let me bring on my panel, my guests. Okay. Let me bring on my guests and so on. If you can hear me, that'd be great. Right. Let me bring on, first and foremost, let's bring on this gentleman here, Mr. Ryder. Mr. Ryder, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon. Yes, good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon. Hope all is well. Yeah. I'm gonna, like I've been saying, during looking after my mum and everything like that, and the conversations you have with people, yourself, and some of the others I'm going to bring on, you realise that this is going to be a common theme for a lot of people. But yeah, so I thought I'd do this to highlight what some of us are going through, because it's the tip of the iceberg. There's plenty of people, especially men, black men, who are going through this. A lot of people silently, and so be it, because I did ask other people, but a lot of people are more reserved and they don't want people to know their business, and I get all of that. I get all of that. So,
I was one of them.
yes, I mean no. So yeah, but no, and I thank you for agreeing to do this. I thank you for agreeing to do this. So yeah, stay put, and I'm going to bring on the next person now. So I'm going to bring on Mr. Walker, if he's around. Yes, good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon.
Good
No,
afternoon.
but drink a coffee, man. Don't worry.
I'm gonna drink it.
Yeah, drink a coffee, sir. Yeah. Anyway, how's life treating you?
I'm surviving, my brother, in a world that doesn't care, but I'm still here.
Yeah. I can't beat that. I can't beat that line. Can't beat that line. Can't beat it at all. So, but thank you
Morning,
again for
sir.
agreeing. Yeah, Chris. Yes, Chris Ryder.
Well,
Yes,
morning, Chris, Mr. Ryder.
Morning,
Mr.
Curtis.
Ryder.
Morning, Curtis.
Yeah.
Afternoon, my brother.
Afternoon. That's right. Yeah. So, with that, let me bring on another gentleman. Right, Peter.
Wow. Morning.
Yes.
Or
Afternoon.
All right.
Right.
Morning,
Another
Peter.
Morning,
yeah.
Chris.
Afternoon.
Afternoon.
Yes, Pete.
Yeah.
There.
So,
Well,
How
greetings,
come I'm the
everyone.
only one who's feeling is taking up more screen time?
Mhm.
You know, look so sick. Peter look like we're on a visit in his prison, man. What's up, bro? You're not down, Pete.
Hey,
You're not down.
don't say that, man.
you know what?
I'm out.
If this, I was going to say something. I was going to say something.
You let me out.
I was gonna,
Yes.
yeah. I was gonna say something, but the topic I'm gonna leave it alone.
Yeah.
I'm gonna leave it alone.
Right.
But also, Peter, thank you so much for
Yeah.
for agreeing to do this. So, like I said, it's a subject matter dear to me. So, I'm just gonna do this, and everybody can tell their side of the story and show a different side to the black man, basically, because we get enough kicking and bashing left, right, and centre when we're ready, as you know. So with that, let me see if my man's ready. Where is he?
How much money you got on this? My goodness.
So, well, there was supposed to be. Well, I'm supposed to have him. Where is he? Slim. Where is he? I can see. Well, all right. Let me call out his government name. Danny. Can you hear me?
I can't see nothing.
Oh,
Yeah,
there
well, I can hear you, but I can't see you. You need to turn on your
I
camera.
can't hear nothing.
You can't. Yeah, because you see black
I
people.
can see his ankle. Is that his ankle or a mastic?
No. That's my background.
Oh,
All right. You're supposed to click something, man. You know, give the app permission for your camera and your mic. Well, I can hear you, so it's the camera. We did this yesterday, and it was fine. We see that's live entertainment for you, and he would be the one.
always.
He, always. But let's. All right, then. Let me. All right, then. Let me bring him out, and you know what? I'll bring him back in once he's sorted himself out. All right. You still can't do nothing, Dan? No. All right. Let's take him out. All right. So with that, yeah, I'm supposed to have two people from the DJ fraternity, but unfortunately, doesn't look like it's going to happen. Which is a shame. Well, I'm sorry. I got Chris. I should say that. I shouldn't say that. I got Chris and myself, but there was
What
some.
about Peter? What's Peter's fraternity?
Yeah,
You're causing trouble, friend. But you're
No,
right. I should say
I'm
that. No, you're right. No, you're right. I have myself. I have Peter, and I have Chris.
all right.
right.
Peter was known as Hollywood H for 5 minutes, but that's another story.
Anyway, we'll not go into.
we're not going into that. Yeah, correct. correct. For the yes. Anyway, so gents. So you know, Peter. Let me start with you. You got 10, 15 minutes to if you can. Yeah, just
I
your
was gonna,
story.
I was gonna say that long.
No. 10, 15 minutes. Yeah, well, no, because
Half an
everybody's
hour, man.
stories. No, stop it.
Going all night.
No.
You know that line. You know that line. You know that
I'm
line.
trying to keep it. I'm trying to be professional, Peter.
Hold
You
on.
stop the bedroom talk about all night long.
I was gonna say, you know that line that Bernie Mac said, 3 minutes is a heavyweight bout.
Thank you. Well,
You know what I mean?
see that very, very true. You can knock out people.
Right.
You don't need that long, man. Anyway,
Anyway, say your story, Peter. Say your story.
My story.
Yes, your story.
Right. Where did I start? Well, I'm a carer. Look after my mother. She suffers from dementia, and she has lymphedema on her left leg. So, how did it all start? Usual symptoms at first. Also, may I say, I have a twin sister, a younger sister, and my children. Yeah. Now, how did it all start? My mum, at first, was accusing people of stealing things. Things were going missing. You know, anyone who come into the house, they stole this, they stole that. We just thought it was rather unusual behavior.
All
But
right, cool. Yeah, all right, cheers, thanks. All right,
for a while, we just thought, oh, she's, it's old age, and this is what old people do, accusing people. That went on for a while. We started getting little inclinations that something weren't right. And then one day, I left the house, I was at a wedding, and my sister went around to visit my mum. And she said to my sister asked my mum, oh no, sorry, let me get it right. My mum said to my sister, when last you see Peter? Because she hasn't seen me in weeks. So my sister phones me up and says, what's going on? You told me that you was going to give mum something to eat and that you was just here. I said, that's exactly what I did. I just left I just left my mum's house about half an hour before. And I said, Katrina, I've just left mum's house. She was fine. And she told me, well, mum's told me she ain't seen you in weeks.
Wow.
And that's when the penny dropped that something was wrong. Yeah. So after that, you know, that's when we started taking notice that mum's got, well, we suspect it's dementia because it all added up, but nothing diagnosed yet. Yeah. So we got her diagnosed, and they said yes, she's got dementia. At the time I was working, so I thought, okay, I'll have to stay closer to mum. At first, I used to just spend the odd night, but then it increased from 1 night to 2 nights till full time. Yeah, it just gradually progressed. It's not a nice feeling watching it or being in it, but you just have to get through it. I have good support from my family, and I'll start with that. I'll pass it on to you.
All right, cool. No, thank you so much, Peter.
Overview. Yeah.
All right. All right. I seem to manage to get the my wayward family member on board. So let me bring him in now. Let's see if I can get him. Right. Slim, you can hear me? Yeah, he's on the drink already. Look, it's lean. you can hear me? Hey, Danny, you can hear me? Can't hear me. All right. Can you hear me? I can't hear you. Have you got your mic? All right. Hold on a second.
Unmute.
Unmute yourself. Unmute. You're on mute. Like, all right. I still can't hear you. Oh, you can't hear nobody? What's going on? Okay. All right. I'm going to come back to you. All right. Curtis.
Take him
Stop
out.
your noise.
Take him out.
Yeah, I'm going to take him out.
Distracting.
All right. All right.
How many years have we had to learn how to do this? From lockdown, every man had to learn how to do this in some form or the other. Yeah? It's 2024. The man don't know how to turn on the microphone yet.
Don't start cussing, man. Tell your story, sir. Tell your story. We'll come back to it.
My father passed 2012 in Jamaica. My mum's still alive, but she's based primarily in Jamaica. She comes over maybe 3-4 months of the year. She's due back in about 2 weeks.
Right.
I talk to her every day, video call her every day. I'm very blessed in that I run joke with her about dementia, but the reality is she's just as sharp and as fast as she ever was. It's just physically she can't do what she used to do. So when she comes over and we're here, it's mainly me and her. I've got 2 sisters. We live good. That's the main thing. We live very good. We're very supportive of each other. I don't know, Pete, when they do the dementia test, did you ever sit down when they come around and test?
Yeah. Can you,
And the
can you
questions
hear
they
yourself?
ask, that I can't even answer. And I'm like,
Well,
what?
funny you should say that, especially when they do the clock one. They told you to tell the time
No, we
backwards.
can't hear you for some reason. No.
Yeah.
Oh,
And you're sitting there struggling and you go, maybe I've got dementia. So, I don't know that.
you know
Yeah.
exactly.
Because
It.
my family, we're very humorous, you know?
Just
So even in the depths of pain and tragedy, we kind of bond together with a really inappropriate joke or something that an outsider might find, wow, that's a bit cold. That's a bit.
I know that. Yeah.
Because my father wasn't a funny man, but he was hilarious, but didn't know he was hilarious. He used to get upset with you when you laughed when he said things that were funny, but he couldn't see the funny. And my mum is the total opposite. She's an absolute humorist. She's funny all the time, you know. and the energy around us is that keeps us going, even in the hard time. For my mum's diabetic and has had 3 strokes, 3 heart murmurs. Let's call them murmurs because it hasn't physically affected her, and she's had to have a defibrillator fitted from Jamaica. But you know, it's even when I was saying to um I want to say Trevor, government name Trevor. It was
Yeah, no worries.
no, it was it, it was hard for me because I know how blessed we are, and I'm so grateful every day that I get to speak to her and I get to video call her with technology now. You know, years ago we wouldn't have been able to do all of this. Now we're able to keep in touch and check on, and now people can have ring or doorbell, you know, cameras, so you can actually watch. So when your mum's telling you people are stealing, which it seems to be a common trait, you know, because my mum accuses me of that, and she's right, but I'm just surprised how quick how quick she picked it up on it. Your
Change. That's
old
gonna be
girl,
nice, couldn't you?
she'll spot that fiver going, and she'll like, whoa, where are everybody? Oh, sorry, mum, I thought you were sleeping. So yeah, it's just about that because like all of us, we talk a lot to different people, and we meet up with a lot of, and everybody's story is so different. And I've heard some horrific stories, you know, of families just falling apart, not being there for each other. Everybody has their own agenda, and that's what gets scary when the families don't live good and you're caring for the elderly, your parents. It's crucial that you find some kind of common ground and any history. You know, sometimes families have got some history where we just haven't let things go from our childhood. We just haven't let things go and we let them manifest and destroy what should be a loving, caring environment. And I know it's hard work, man, because my mum is hard work. You know, she's hard work. But I will be, I guess, in Peter's position at some point where because of the work I do, I've got a lot more time and my time is flexible. So I always roll with her all the time, but it's just patience you got to have. I know Peter it's patience, isn't it? You really got to bite your tongue a lot. You've got
Yeah.
to breathe deep, count to 100. It's hard. It's so hard. And even though my mum mentally is sharp, I'm still a kid and I'm still a child, you know?
Right.
As old as I am at 42, she's still leave it, leave it, leave it. I'm
Boy.
still her baby, so she talks to me like I'm her baby, and I'm not grown, and I ain't got children of my own, and I ain't got bills to pay. She talks to me like that, and you know, it's just to get through it, man. And because when my dad passed, it was hard because my father and me had a really weird relationship in that we weren't best friends most of my childhood. But I get it. I got it. As I had children, I got it. What he was actually trying to instill in me and trying to teach me. And as he grew older and I grew older, we formed a real good bond, you know. And he passed away in Jamaica. We heard he wasn't well. He was at 84, so heard he wasn't well. And my sister made a plan to go and just check on it and get some information for us. And the day she was flying out, the 12th of September, she was in the air when he passed away.
Oh wow.
She was in the plane, and which was good because she landed and was able to, I don't know, just be there. And then we kind of flew out I think it was about a week later. I got out there, and my other sister. But I give it all to God, man, because we've been blessed. We've been blessed. He had a real good life. He died still with some dignity. We tried to maintain that. I think that's what you want, isn't it? All our parents want really is their dignity and still be able to kind of be involved in decision making if they can. You know, there's a point where that doesn't happen, but they just want dignity, and that's what I realized. And certain things, like with my dad, when I used to, he's a DIY guy, so he do all the work around the yard. And in Jamaica, there was a lot of things had to be done constantly, and I would just do things, and he'd get so upset because that was his job, you know. Like, you know, even moving the ladder, going and doing a bit of painting around the house. We paint you. Oh, you go pick up a paintbrush and I go use it. And it's because I really didn't give him the respect I should have afforded him. I said, Dad, I'm thinking about painting that wall. What do you think I should do? And even just verbally for him to give instruction, which is what he wanted, just to give instruction. And that's what I learned in that journey, you know. And I made all the boys, all my children and the children we have in Jamaica, just telling them when they were getting frustrated with him, give him his voice. And he'll let him tell you what he wants you to do. And then you do things how you want, but listen to him. And that's all he wants. Just to feel like he was the major, the sergeant major in the house, which dignity, man. That's it.
I have to agree with
Yeah,
that.
no, yeah,
Can I spot in there? Even it's a good point you made there, because even though my mom has dementia, she hasn't lost her old traits. So she still thinks, well, she either thinks she's a child or she thinks she's in her 30s, 40s, and we're chill and everyone around her are little kids. She
Wow.
loves children, but you've got to sort of give her the respect and explain things to her, even though, I mean, you're going to be explaining it quite a few times,
Yeah.
but you have to remember what the situation is. Yeah, you just have to say to yourself in your head, my mom has dementia. Whatever she says to me, I can't take it personal. Because right now, she doesn't even know that I'm her son. Yeah,
Wow.
she doesn't
that's
know how.
that.
Yeah,
That's probably the
that,
worst part, man.
that
Yeah,
is the worst one to take.
that's tough. That's tough. That's tough. All right, thanks. Let's see, Slim. Can you hear us? Can we hear you? No, still can't hear nobody. Hello, Slim. That's a shame because he's got a story and a half to tell. He's got a story and a half, but it's just
Yeah,
not.
there he is.
Can you hear
Yeah,
me?
yeah. Can hear you
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
Yes. All
Yes,
right. Cool.
You can't hear me.
I can hear you.
again,
Everything's on.
All right.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah,
You
we
can
can hear
hear
you
Yeah.
us.
now.
I can hear you.
Wonderful. Thank you, sir. Good afternoon. Okay. Is there a time? Can you hear us?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah, can
Can you
hear
hear
you.
me?
Yes.
Yes.
You can hear me
Yes.
now.
Yes.
Yes.
Right. Okay. At last. You know what I mean? Really funny that it comes to.
Hey,
Good
no matter
afternoon,
start.
folks. How is everyone?
Everyone's okay.
Yeah, I looked after my dad. Yeah, I can hear you.
is there some delay?
Yeah, so why do you keep stopping?
Yeah. No,
Yeah,
because
well,
obviously
stop stopping me.
there's a delay. There's a delay. All right, do what you do. So what you say?
No, you know what it is? He might be listening
I
to.
looked after I looked after my dad for 7 years, I think it was. Yeah. Huh?
No, go on.
He's hearing it at a different time to us.
Yeah, is he listening? Is he listening to it through
I looked
Mixcloud
after my dad.
or through the computer? How is he listening to it? I think he's monitoring on your day.
There's a delay.
Yes,
I
there
don't
is.
know why. There's a
Yeah, there
delay.
is. All right, tell your story, sir. Tell your story.
Right. So I've been looking after my dad. I'm on my laptop. I'm on my laptop. I'm on my laptop. Can you? All right. I was looking after my dad's for 7 years. I didn't really find it hard because he didn't have like dementia or Alzheimer's or anything like that. Literally, all he struggled with was his diabetes. And if you look after anyone or care for anyone, whatever they're struggling with, you end up having to try and care for that struggle because they don't try and look after themselves when they get old. So yeah, it was really the diabetes, because he'd take diabetes medicine, but he loved sugar. So he would have cups of teas and put 3 teaspoons of sugar in every tea. And yeah, it was hard to manage that. I will say, did I enjoy the time spent with him? Yeah, I think I did. Me and my dad always had a good relationship. He weren't always around. My dad was a bit of a coxman, as Trev knows, yeah. So he was always up and down. But when, as a child, I really did have a good relationship with him. So when he got older, like a lot of us, it's automatic. We kind of care for our elders, you know. There was never a question, and I'm sure with the rest of yourselves, put in. Can you not hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah.
It's just there's a delay, but we can hear you. Go on, carry on.
Can you hear me?
Carry on with this story. Carry on.
Hold on. Hold on.
Okay.
You say I didn't say that, right?
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I don't.
No,
Anyway, all right, cool.
He's getting it about a minute later, isn't he?
Yeah. All right, I
no.
got somebody. Go on,
Where's
Chris.
he
Go on.
getting feet?
No, I was gonna say if he's monitoring it through StreamYard, not through Mixcloud, then there might be a delay. So check if he's listening to it in this or is it StreamYard.
Yeah, that's a point actually. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Or
It
is he
should.
got
It
a
should.
piece of string and a cup?
So
Nah.
what I'll do, I'll go into my situation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mute your mic when you come off, Jahrrell, when you're talking to him. All right. Sorry guys, my situation is kind of similar to a lot of people. Mine started in Jamaica. My mum and dad went back to Jamaica, and my dad passed out. She left my mum by herself. Then she was diagnosed in Jamaica with Parkinson's. So you know, after a while, she out there by herself, and she got her sisters out there, but they're not in the same area. I just told Jahrrell
Yeah,
to
we heard
unmute his
you.
mic
We
and
heard you, brother. And, and now we're going to hear everything his family discussed.
you know what I mean?
That sound like a he's probably ordering food, Deliveroo.
Yeah.
No, it's not. It's not the laptop.
But anyway, what's happened is
It's not the laptop. No, what I was asking.
hold on, I can't talk like this, man.
When you're listening to us, are you?
Hold on.
The only thing I can think of is, are you in
Can't you
Mixcloud
delete
or
it
are you in that
remotely?
the screen part?
No, I
Where
can't.
everyone, and you can see people down the side. What?
Oh, boy. I love the slickness of this show. It's very professional.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, like I said, we can hear you. I don't know why the delay is. I don't know why the delay is.
Anyway, I'll try and talk.
Yeah, try pulling through it.
All right, but what's happened is obviously you're keeping in contact. You know, well, for me it was a weekly basis, making sure she's all right and stuff like that. But I started to put things out there where people taking advantage of her.
Sorry about that. I don't know why this delay.
So,
All right. No,
in
that's
that
cool.
situation,
It's not your fault.
I got to get her back here.
No, it's not yours. No.
Is she back now?
Sorry, she's here now. Yeah. She's with me now.
wow.
Yeah. So my thing was I had to get her
Thank
back.
you. Thanks.
And
We'll catch up. Thanks a lot for agreeing.
Hang on, bro, because I need to hear this. Because your journey, I think, is where I'm heading. If you know what I mean. So I'd love to hear this. Let's wait for him and Slim to hug and say goodbye. No, I think we're good. Go on.
Yeah. All right. So what's basically happened is I had to make plans to get her back here because, you know, there was things that's happening where, you know, when people's in Jamaica like that, the younger start to take advantage and stuff like that. I'm the only one from my mother. I got older brothers and sisters on my dad's side, but I'm the only one from my mother.
Yeah.
Jahrrell,
Yes, can you hear me?
We can hear you, brother. Believe me, we can hear
Jahrrell,
you. When did
I
I
thought
tell you to
you
mute
was,
your mic when you go
I
away?
thought I did. I
You did
thought I
not.
did. My apologies. I thought I
Yeah.
did. Apologies. All right, go on.
right.
Well, you heard then. Slim, unfortunately, another time
Yeah, and
because
he
the delay. He could,
apologized profusely, and we appreciate that.
profusely. Yes,
And we
yes,
were
and you
in the
heard.
middle of a nice. All right. So if we continue, yeah,
Chris. Yes,
Right.
Chris. Yeah, sorry, Chris.
So
Beg your pardon.
where I was that mom she came back here for a little bit, then she went back out. And when she went back out, my brother had his whole family in her house.
oh,
It was like there was no room for her to stay.
oh,
You know what I mean? Now her house was partitioned, so she's got her bedroom and then her little quarters on the outside. They'd obviously kicked off the door and took over that section. So that was my thing where I said, nah, she's coming back here and we're gonna sell that. You understand? Because you know how it go. You're out there, they're just waiting for something to happen and then just take over everything. And I said, nah, I ain't having that. So we made plans to get her back here, sell off, and that's where we are now. So she's here. And I said it's better she, you know what I mean, live her best life here than what's going on out there. So that was the situation. So yeah, she's got the Parkinson's. She's deteriorating. You know, I'm fortunate. I've got my cousin with me at the moment who kind of is there, and that helps me to kind of move around more freely. But yeah, you take her for walks and stuff because they've already said to her that she will need a wheelchair at some point, and she's fighting against that. My mother's a trooper. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah,
We go for walks regular, but what you notice is that the distances are getting. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
yeah, we just live day to day, and you know, just make her as comfortable as possible. But she's still very much, she's still sharp. She's still independent in the sense that she can do most things herself anyway.
Right.
It's just the fact that her mobility is getting slower and stuff like that. So, you know, as you say, in God we give the grace. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? We just keep going as much as we can.
All right.
Yeah.
Well,
Mm,
that's all we can do. That's all we can do.
yeah.
Right. I got who's this? Michael. Let me see if I can get Mikey on this thing. Right. Yes, sir. Mikey, can you hear me?
Yep. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah, I can hear you. All right.
Professional at
Um,
last.
yeah. Good afternoon. Yeah. Good afternoon. All right. Since you're on there now, tell your story, sir. Thank you.
Well, my story started in.
Oh, but Mikey, I know you like to elaborate. So remember, we've
No,
only
I'm not
got like.
elaborating. It
All
just
right, cool.
started in
Thank you. All
2000,
right.
year 2000.
Yeah. Because
Ju-
I'd like
just
to
before the
celebrate my birthday.
coronavirus virus.
All right.
My dad had died the year before. Buried him in December, but I wasn't able to go to the funeral because I was sick at the time. Well, I was in hospital. But then my mom started sending me funny messages, and I know my mom well because she was, to me, she is and will always be my best friend. So I scampered to Jamaica and saw a situation where I wasn't happy because she had people taking advantage of her,
Mm,
fleecing her because they do that. And I just said, well, Mom, what do you want to do? Do you want to come back over? And she said, no. I think it's because she didn't want to leave my dad, although he died.
Mm.
Yeah, she didn't want to leave. She didn't want to leave the place. I mean, if you think of it, they were together more or less for 65 years. Um, so I decided to stay. No, coronavirus decided that I should stay because I landed on the 14th of March, and the 15th of March, Jamaica
Lockdown.
decided that they weren't going to put people in.
Yeah.
But then I stayed. And we did the normal things. The thing is, that this is the sting in the tail, is that my mom had cancer, but I didn't know because she weren't complaining. Um, Up until last year, January, I make the flight, lose the flight, and everything. But I just stayed with her. My kids came over, and like you guys were saying, have family over there. I had an elder brother, and he did not. I think he saw her in 6 times in 3 years,
Wow.
and he lives. He lives. It's not like he lives far. He lives about 5, 6 miles away from her. Um, so it was down to me. And then when we found out that she had cancer, tried everything, but she had anemia. So and she was anemic. So in the gist of it, she died last year, unfortunately. I think for me, it was one of the greatest experiences I had because I hadn't seen my mom. I had lived with my mom for 30 years, 30, 40, going on 30 years. And then I was there and it was me and her one,
Yeah,
and, it was like, I know you guys could understand this. It's, oh, she wants a cup of tea, but it's 3 o'clock in the morning. But you still have to get up and do it. It's like,
yeah,
mom, but you do it,
yeah,
and saw it through. But for me, it was one of the best experiences. Although it was a sad experience because, as far as I'm concerned, no much money could have. She died in the end, so nothing could have helped me to get her better. It doesn't matter how much money in the world, but the caring and the experience that you sit down and she give you jokes and you joke about, although she's in pain, but she's still trying to live.
yeah.
A good die, and that was the best thing for me. And yeah, as you guys said, because even now I'm partly in Jamaica, I'm partly here, and with the family, I just lock up my house. They ain't getting it. My brothers, my nieces, or whoever want it, they ain't getting it because of, and it's not because of I want possessions. It's because they were never there. Nobody was there. It was just me making sure that everything's done. And yeah, it messed me up in a certain in one way, but it made my life more satisfying and edifying that because I had that to do and I could say thank you in a different way rather than anything else. So that's my story in a nutshell.
So,
Because
but can I ask you, when you say it messed you up in one way, what was that? What was that way when you say it messed you up?
well, certain sacrifices had to be made because
So
I
that's
asked my
financial.
mom, right? I asked my mom, do you want to come back to England? And she was adamant, no.
So you,
So whatever I had doing or whatever I was going to do and the plans that I made then had to be shelved. I didn't even think about them. So
yeah,
that's why I said up in one way, in the sense of, well, I had things that I was doing in my personal life that
yeah,
which Chris and Jahrrell might be able to say, I wanted to do something. I had things in place that I was going to do, but then I couldn't do them because my mom comes first, family comes first.
Mm.
So you know, it's hard trying to say you want to do something, even although the you've got technology nowadays. It's hard trying to do things when you're 9,000 miles away.
right.
To get it done, sometimes you need to be have a presence. So I had to shelve that, and that's what I meant by that. Um, I don't regret it though. Whatever may be, because as I said, I had three years of total bliss in the sense that it was me and my mom, anything she wanted, you know what I mean? To
Yeah,
me,
I
and looking
can
after
relate to
her.
that, man. I can relate to that because I'll tell you this: I was in Jamaica with my dad. I'll tell you with your parents and stuff like that, but you're not with them like how, like as Mikey's saying, he's with her 24/7. I had that experience with my dad for like probably about nearly 2 months, and learned more about the man in those 2 months than I learned the whole of my life. Simply because you was with him every day, we went out eat together, stuff like that. You're in his environment. Spanish Town, my father come from, so we went all the way around Spanish Town. He showed me every nook and cranny. He used to be a fireman as a youth, and took me to the fire station. A lot of things that I didn't know about my father, I learned in that, that short space of time. So I can relate to Mikey when he said when he was with his mum, and you learn so much more about them as adults. It's one thing seeing your parents as children, but when you can relate as adults, it's a different dynamic completely. So I can fully relate. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, with my situation, as you guys know, I mean, with my mum, I noticed her deterioration. Oh, hold on. Yeah, I noticed her deterioration during the first lockdown, and I
Mm,
think it was when the kids were staying with her for a period. No, just before the first lockdown, kids stayed with her for one of the half terms, and my son and my daughter rang me saying, Tyne on the thing, saying, "Oh, grandma's not as mobile as she used to be." So with that, you know, picked them up after the week, took them back home, and I said to mum, "All right, mum, gonna book an appointment, go to the doctors." So did all of that. That's when we found out mum had a hole in her heart, and one of the valves weren't functioning properly. But being COVID, as you knew, everything shut down, and you couldn't get an appointment for love nor money, and all the hospital beds were for people with COVID. So, but mum had to just sit there and wait till so-called a bed would be available, and nothing never really happened till the second lockdown. Um, which is the sad thing about it. Yeah, nothing ever happened for mum medically wise till then. Second lockdown, mum goes into hospital, and then we find out now. Yeah, hole in the heart plus one of her heart valves isn't functioning properly, and she will have to have an operation. So anyway, at that point, I'm I'm going back and forth because the family house is in Middlesex, Perivale. I'm going back and forth with all of this. And after the second lockdown, certain circumstances happened, and you guys know what happened. And so I just said, you know what? Let me spend more time with mum. Initially, I'd moved back down to South, staying at Akeem's for a period, and I was going every day, going back and forth with mum. But I think after like the third or fourth time mum was in hospital, had to go into, no, actually the fourth or fifth time mum went into hospital with a heart condition. Then we found out that because the heart wasn't pumping properly and the valves weren't functioning, she was developing fluid around her lungs, and that was giving mum breathing difficulties. So that's when I decided, you know what, I have to stay with mum full time because the back and forth thing just didn't make sense. At that point, I had to start talk to the council about possible getting help, carers, and also trying to get a one of those, what they call it, the walk-in shower. And I started the walk-in shower process. I started that during the first lockdown. Mum didn't that Lewisham Council that wasn't approved till backside. With how long now? We're talking about when did they? Last year, beginning of last year. Finally got the walk-in shower. And mum used it to the best of her abilities, but even then, to be honest, she was getting weaker and weaker. So I got a carer in because I was doing most of the stuff anyway, the cooking, the washing, etc., etc. Giving her medication every day and so on. But I got a carer to come in because I couldn't wash mum. That was one of the things I just couldn't do. So I asked for support on that, and I got it for that. So But I could see with the days and the weeks and the months, mum was definitely getting
Yeah.
worse.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the crippling thing. Watching, because you grow from infant to boy to teenager to man, and as far as you're concerned, you see them, and they're always there and they're always strong and
Yeah.
they're doing this and they're putting around the house and so on. But watching my mum basically every day lose it, and she would sit there. I could hear her in her bedroom sometimes. I'd be in the living room and I could hear her crying in the bedroom, and I'd go in there and say, "What's wrong, mum?" And she said, she just can't believe she's where she is now. She can't do, as you said, Curtis, having no purpose. They because she could get up and cook and clean and this and that. But the other thing with mum as well, cataracts.
Right.
She had, yeah. So because of that, I had to ban mum from cooking because one time so I was working part time, so I would get up in the morning, give mum her medication, sort out her breakfast and lunch. So when the carer came in the afternoon, they could warm up the lunch and give my mum her lunch and give her medication. I'll be back usually by 2:30, 3 o'clock the latest to sort out dinner. But she cried because one time, because of the cataracts, she tried to cook something for herself and she left. She thought she turned off the stove, but she hadn't. And then on top of that, she put one of those, the covers you put on the microwave to in the microwave so the food don't splash.
Yeah.
She put one of those on the stove. And when I got in from work, I could smell like plastic. So what the hell? When I went into the kitchen, that's when I realized she didn't turn off the stove properly. It was a small flame, but it was burning through the plastic cover. So I just said, Mum, no more. You can't cook that burner. Because I said, Mum, leave the kitchen alone. I will make you a cup of tea. I will make you your dinner. I do this and that. And I think for my mum, and that generation in general, not being able to even make your own cup of tea was devastating. And like I said, my mum would cry at night time, and I would hear it, and it was tough.
Yeah.
But you get through it, and I it was hard because it was just me one because I didn't have anybody. No, well, Peter, God bless him, he would ferry my mum up and down to the hospital. My cousin Audrey, she's like a nurse, and she'll come by and give mum check her blood pressure and give me some advice on what to do or what not to do, etc., etc. But as a whole, it was as a whole it was tough. It was
Yeah.
tough, and yeah. Look, like I said, with my conversations with others, there are many, many people out there who are going through this, and there's a lot of us as men. I know we get bashed down regularly, and some of it rightly so, but there is a lot of us, like this group of us now. Like I said, Danny was looking after his dad for years.
Yeah, man.
For years. Slim, sorry.
So,
Again, Peter looking after his mum, auntie, for years.
I
And
remember used to see
yourselves,
Slim every Friday. Slim and his dad used to do
yes,
the shop, innit? That was their
that's
shopping day.
that's the
That was a
shopping day, correct.
that was a beautiful thing, man. Because
That
that's
no,
again, it's about our parents and their routines and things that
Mm.
they still do. My parents, it was a Thursday was shopping day. The trolley day was Thursday, and then of course Saturday. But you know what I mean? It just every Friday, Slim and his dad would walk across Brixton Column Lane there, carrying the
yes,
basket.
yeah, it
And
was.
it's beautiful. This is what people don't realize because you imagine somebody like Slim now on that same night, he'd probably be performing at the Hackney Empire or something like that. And then
Yeah,
the reality of a Friday afternoon was taking your parents shopping. Yeah, that's what I'm doing. I'm taking my dad shopping.
yeah,
People think we're kind of immune to it or life don't really affect us like that. But men do, They- we do. What we're allowed to do, we do. And it's interesting what you're saying about the way we get vilified, isn't it? Like we're the worst people on the face of the earth. And
Yeah.
the beauty I see every day when I look at us in regards about community, and there's stuff that just doesn't get highlighted because it's, I don't know if it get the likes or the new generation TikToky or media sensation, but there's beauty in us, man. Even down to a total stranger helping an old lady with her bag, or mommy, you drop this or whatever, things like that. It just empowers me, man. It makes the day go easier. Just to put a smile on somebody's face, just to say good morning to somebody. You try saying good morning to an older generation, they light up, because they think it's over. They think those days are over.
No, I absolutely. Yeah, I mean, for me, and like I said, I'm sure our stories are more or less. And there's, like I said, there's hundreds and thousands going through the
Of
same
course.
situation, but we don't know it. We don't know it. But the reality, and like I said, I know we get a whole heap of stick, and like I said, some of it deservedly, you know. But these situations are high, as you said. These situations are highlighted. We, as men, as black men, as you said, we're heartless. We're this. We're that. But we have blood runs through our veins just like anybody else. We have feelings just like anybody else.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, all right then. So our generation, because our fathers and a lot of our fathers didn't show much emotion, and and that's probably is to a certain extent why we are how we are now, because it wasn't. I mean, my son and my children now. If they shed a tear and thing, I say shed a tear. There's nothing wrong with it. Rather shed a tear. But we weren't brought up like that. If anything happened now, you had to be, man up and don't shed a tear and so on and so on.
Yeah.
And I think that's a good thing and a bad thing. If I'm really honest, that's a good thing and a bad thing. So, yeah, look, all I would say to anybody out there looking after a loved one, do your thing. I know there's some. I know. I will say this now that I don't know if mine, if I'm lucky enough to reach a certain age, if mine will look after me, I don't know. And the same with you guys. We don't know.
Yeah, we could
We
Oh,
we could always.
I know mine won't. So I know.
well, all right, all right. But that's the thing. I don't know. And to be honest with you, they're different from us anyway, because
Yeah.
we see it as a duty.
Mm.
Don't get me wrong though. There's not all of us because
No, but you remember what I think Mikey was saying about the best moment is that time he got to spend. Do you know what I
correct.
mean? One on one.
Mm,
Because I had a moment like that with my father. This is my father at say 82 when I found out my dad used to pick cotton in
Okay.
America. I didn't know
Wow.
that. I
yeah,
had no
sir.
clue. It's sitting down on the veranda in Jamaica. My dad told me when he was 16, 17, they were taken over to America and pick cotton. I said,
Right.
Dad, he was a slave. He goes, no, 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 them give we $1 a week, $1 a week. And that was his line between slavery and
Mm,
working man. But I
yeah.
didn't know that about my father. My father raised me from the
Mm,
day I was born until my father turned 82 and was sitting down having a cup of tea or whatever. And he revealed that. And that goes back to about men and how my father never really showed emotion,
mm,
never
Yeah.
really told his story. He provided, went to work, provided. Friday, Saturday, he went for a drink, and that was his existence. Never late for work once. He was proud of that. He
yeah.
just provided. He worked. I didn't know my father.
I
And it
can.
wasn't until, like Mike was saying, when you're sitting down with them and with in both adults and in his or they're in their twilight, you start to get to know who they were or who they are.
Mm,
And that sad thing about us not as my generation anyway, not being allowed to kind of talk the more delicate, sensitive stuff wasn't really communicated in the house. There was none of that.
no.
Really, there weren't moments of let's just be open and talk.
Yeah, mine was the same. Mine was the same. If my father had a problem with what I was doing or thought I had, it would be always relayed through my mother. He wouldn't come
Yeah,
directly to me and say, you know what I mean? It would always be what that boy there do, a boy, we used to that boy there, you know what I mean? But it wouldn't be to me. You understand? That's how it used to be. Or you know what I mean? In at night you can hear him talk, you can hear them talking, and he's talking about me, but he wouldn't come directly to me and say,
yeah,
well, go on this, sir. You know what I mean? as you said, it was always that kind of stern kind of character. You always
But
showed.
then, but then used to say things like, you better tell your son. Tell your son.
Yeah,
You
Yeah,
better
yeah.
yeah.
run your
That's
son.
that's when he was disowned. You know them ones. Yeah,
Yeah, yes.
they disowned me for that brief minute. They disowned me. But when he did something, it's like my mum. When me and my brother, God rest his soul, when we did anything bad, you is your father's child, or you is a Bowden.
Yeah,
straight
yeah,
straight away disconnect. That straight disconnect. But you know what? It was all part of growing up.
yeah.
It was all like I said. My mum passed away in April, but as Mikey said, and everybody else is echoing the same thing. I wouldn't have had it any other way, and those 2 3 years looking after my mum, as you said, Curtis, I found so much about my mum and about my extended family, just
Yeah,
because all we did was just talk,
yeah,
you know, and you just and reminisce,
yeah.
and yeah, that's all we did. And like I
You
said,
know what you got to remember as well, Jahrrell, is all of us really is to record it. I did that in Jamaica with my mum. She was just in one of them moods where she was just talking. I
right,
found out so much stuff, so I ran for my phone and I just put record on and recorded it. You know, I haven't even listened back to it, but I know at some point that will be the most precious thing I present. I
I,
know,
I,
you know.
absolutely. Yeah. During the second lockdown, I did something similar. I recorded well, you know, parents, and my mum was saying about when we gone, you know, or when she's going. You have this in place, you have that in place, and I was thinking about right, because who am I going to ask to do a eulogy? Because the reality is, all my mum's brothers and sisters were dead, passed.
Yeah,
All my aunties and so on in are passed away as well. Peter's mum, obviously with the Alzheimer's, she's the only one over here, but obviously with the Alzheimer's and everything like that. So really and truly, there wasn't really anybody. So I just picked up my phone or a recorder, and I just said to my mum, you know what, mum, talk your life story in this for 10, 15 minutes.
yeah,
And that's what she did. And that's what I used at my mum's funeral as a eulogy. I just
yeah,
played it. I played it. It didn't come out as great as I wanted to. I didn't realize how sensitive the mic was, and it was too close. But you can
right.
hear the story. You can hear the story. And yeah, like you said, I've got that on my laptop now, and that will be the best thing on my laptop,
Yeah,
because I could always revert back to that, and I can just hear my mum, and she'll tell me how she came over and the troubles and the strife, and then she got married, and she had me and my brother, and yeah, and all the stories
yeah.
she told in that recording. It was like I said, that, as you said, that I will treasure, and I'm glad that I
But
did it. And
some of those stories she told were that was the first time you're hearing them. I'm guessing some of them.
yeah, some of them, yeah, it was,
Yeah,
some of them, and like I said, when looking after the flashbacks and this the time on TV would happen, and then she would have said, "Oh, you remember?" And then it just a big long story,
yeah,
and that's because my mum was sharp as a tack,
yeah,
but the mobility and the eyesight, that's what. Oh yeah, and obviously her heart condition.
yeah,
That's what really, just not being able to do things for herself. That was the real kicker for my mum. But like I said, there are a whole heap of us men doing this. And we're not going around blowing our own trumpet or anything like that. We're just getting on with it.
yeah.
That's the thing. We're just getting on with it. So
And it's important for people to know they're not alone. Like everybody thinks, because the privacy. I know a lot of people are extremely private about their lives and that. But
correct.
even us, because I know Peter and Jahrrell, we meet up on a regular kind of thing, and we have not a regular, but you know what I mean. When
Yeah,
we
yeah,
meet
yeah,
up, we chat, and we have that kind of barbershop moment without being in the barbershop. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah, yeah, yeah,
But
yeah, yeah.
it's important for everybody to realize there's probably a network of people closer than you think
Yeah.
going through the same
Absolutely,
things. If you
absolutely.
open up enough and start the conversation with each other. Do you know what I mean? Because I know we do a lot of things in isolation because, like we were saying earlier, men are supposed to be just strong and tough and get it done and get through it. And it's breaking us, man. It really is breaking us. It's
Yeah,
easier to just open up and share, man. Take the
Yeah.
risk.
Well, I've been away. Sorry, guys, but
that's fine.
I've been listening, and I want to go back to the point about the dads. Yeah, it's very true. I learned things about my. I mean, my dad passed over 10 years. I don't know, 20. I remember 2011,
Wow.
2012, and it wasn't until he was sick that I learned so much things about him.
Yeah.
When you're close to them like that, because I didn't grow up with my dad. Yeah, he went and married some other woman, but that's another story. Anyway. But and
Talk for the share, bro. Share.
anyway, but
Man's looking passa. Move on.
Tell it. So I got no, you didn't leave your mother auntie, father.
but I learned that he used to work in a cane field. He used to pick sugar cane in what's and you know when he was doing the Suez Canal and all kind of
Yeah,
things.
yeah, the Panama Canal. Yeah, man.
And I'm like, what are you telling me? I didn't know none of this.
Wow.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
And
The
all I'm gonna,
Caribbean still have that, where they take the young. I think
yeah,
now they do it in Canada.
yeah,
And they take the young people and give them an opportunity to earn a little living. But it's basically farming,
yeah,
picking, and they do
that's
that now.
right.
But when our parents were younger,
Yeah,
it was an opportunity. That was a big opportunity for them,
that's right.
picking and getting America. That was my dad going to, I think it was Florida or somewhere and
Yeah,
picking. And
and
and the cane, and I had my grandfather,
yeah,
my grandfather did the Panama Canal. He dug on that.
yeah,
Amazing
that's
stuff.
right. Yeah, and I learned the most about my family from Trevor's mum, Auntie Dulcie, and Danny's mum. They knew more about the background in my family
Did
than
you?
my mum.
Okay.
Yeah, and more. I could get more information out of them than I could with my mum. Like, I mean, I heard Trevor saying that I used to take Trevor's mum to the hospital, and in them times, I used to
Talking.
speak to Auntie, and she'd give me so much information about my family back in Jamaica, about my mom's father, right? And I won't go into it, but
No, go into it, man. You
all I'm
keep
gonna
teasing them. This ain't
Stop the
EastEnders, bro. We don't
stop
look
the
the bangers.
passa.
all I'm
Talk
gonna
your talk, man.
and Auntie Winnie, Daddy's mom, right? He used to tell me so much. All I'm gonna say to people, if you've got your parents alive still, talk to them.
Yes.
Try and find out as much information as you can. It is priceless.
Yeah.
It is priceless. You try and
And
find out. Appreciate your parents while they're still here. You don't, when they're gone, it's too late.
Yeah.
Yeah. Appreciate them while they're here. That's what I'm gonna say.
I would say, you know what, if you can, record some of those stories as well.
That's right.
Not just for yourself,
Yeah.
for your children and your grandchildren.
Yeah, so true.
No,
What
seriously.
I'm hearing from you guys, and I see it myself, is that um, as I said, it was I actually learned which I could give to my kids. So this is something I learned from my mom during that time. Believe it or not, unconditional love.
Yeah.
Because I then knew what it meant. We keep on talking about it, but what does it mean? And I learned that family essential, and that's why I am how I am now. Family is everything to me. It doesn't matter if you're getting a job for £1 million, and if it affects your family in a certain way, you need to move away from it, because the one thing you're going to have is the happiness and the help and the love of your family. So that's what I learned
Yeah,
personally.
but the thing with that, Mikey, we learned that too late in life, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Because we spend all our young life trying to earn, and we make that the priority. And it's only when you reach a certain age, and
Yeah.
I'm so sad, really, that we don't learn that until we've missed a lot of opportunities. A lot of people have gone by the wayside, and then we realize how important that love and that unconditional love is, because we're so busy chasing the dollar, man.
Yeah.
You know, and our children are the same. I mean, I've got that money, 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 money. Wash the car. How much you going to give me? Excuse me. You know what I mean? It's a
Yeah.
negotiation for everything. It's just,
Mm.
I find it quite sad to tell you the truth. The way that we, as a society, have gone so money orientated that we really, it's like you said, that love thing. And I mean, it don't even have to be family to have that kind of love with somebody, a love with a community member. It's important, you know? But we
But
just,
I'm gonna say something to you, and it's not passa, but I'm gonna ask you a question.
yeah,
Don't you think, and this is just me seeing it as it is, that the society in England, especially in England at the moment, don't you think that we're a bit westernized
in England,
in the sense, huh?
yeah, of
Are you
course we
talking
are.
black? No, are you talking black people, West Indians, or just black people in general?
Well, I can only talk about the West Indies. That's where my parents are from. That's where
All
I
right then.
partly grew up.
Yeah, but I
I
think it's a
can't talk about
global thing, Mike. It's a global
mm,
thing, man. No matter
mm,
where you travel in the world, everybody's on that same thing. It's very rare
mm.
culturally now. I know the Asian community is so caring for your elders.
Mm.
It's just it's indicative, but they're more bound than us. That culture is so cousins, aunties, nieces, nephews. They work together. They provide for each other. They feed each other in a way that our culture kind of let go of. You know, even
Ah,
down to the simple thing of the most basic thing of the partner. You remember that? Where
yeah.
people used to come round and do their partner, and it was a time for them to come together, work together, share the pot, share the money, and everybody shone. And that, you know, you'll hear stories of who stole what and what did what, but it ruined that kind of economic growth that we should have had as a culture, as a community, you know. But it's global. It's not just West Indians. It's not just
Yeah.
us.
Yeah.
It
Well,
is global because I
I
know
can.
the African community is suffering it as well.
Yeah.
There's so much. It's
Well, I
just the
can.
world's gone money mad, man. We're all turning into Donald Trump
Yeah.
Steady.
mentality.
Sorry,
As
Curtis.
much as we don't want to admit it, we are. It's there.
Yeah. Sorry, Curtis. I was saying. I drove an ambulance for a short period of time, right? And you know when you take these people around and stuff like that. And I used to go to a lot of hospitals with elderly people, and culturally you can see that. You know what I mean? As far as certain ethnic groups go, they just leave their parents. Their parents ain't seen them or seen them for weeks or months,
Yeah,
whatever the case may be. That's something you see. You know, a lot of the time you sit down and you talk with these people. And they got kids. Their kids live up in the coast, or you know what I mean, abroad and stuff like that. They don't have nothing to do with it. But that's how it seems to be. But what I'm saying is, our kids now are adopting that. So
mm,
what we're talking about, it seems to me that a lot of our kids are adopting that same mentality and the same way they're doing things. So, God forbid if you end up in a home and that you don't know what the situation is going to be with you.
no, I know they won't bother with me at all. I know this. I've said it 3 or 4 times.
So,
I'm looking for them. I ain't looking for them. I really have to. I mean, it's going to be hard, but it's the
Yeah.
reality of it, you know.
But the thing is, I'm gonna say for us as a culture, as a people, what ruined us, because as you said, Curtis, the Indians, the Muslim, the Chinese, them, they have their culture still. They still have their
Yeah.
people.
Not all,
Not all,
Jahrrell.
but
Much
yeah,
greater than us. Much greater
yeah,
than our
much greater than
community
us,
now.
right?
Yeah.
That's right. But the reason being, well, for me anyway, one of the reasons and probably one of the greatest reasons is integration. Trying, well, wanting to be accepted by the white man,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
that has to me weakened us immensely because we wanted to be liked by them, accepted by
Yeah.
them. You know, so hence the straightening the hair, the lightening. Even today, the straightening the hair, the lightening of the skin, and all that crap there. And you know,
Yeah.
whereas, like I said, because look, you got Chinatown, you got the mosques, you got the temples. We've been there longer than all of them. What do we have?
Then gentrified in the front lines, man. What's wrong with you?
Well, there you have it. That's what I think. The few places we had were like Brixton, Harsden, Shepherd's Bush, and thing. All that's slowly but slowly chipping away, chipping away, chipping
That's
away.
all
But
being gentrified now.
Handsworth,
absolutely, yeah,
Harlem.
absolutely,
Yeah.
It's
yeah,
global,
yeah.
gentlemen.
It's
It's
global.
global. I'm
But
not going to sit on here and start moaning about like
oh no. But
five
no, no,
old men. I
no,
know
no, no,
we know the situation. What we need to do really is have conversations like this and it's about the next generation. You've all bought
Absolutely.
your children phones. You've all got your children on TikTok. You've all, you don't want to admit it, but most of your children probably doing a dance right now for TikTok.
Well,
Yeah,
I'm hoping to
unfortunately.
bring it back around on topic. I'm hoping that
Yes.
we know culturally that our children is adopting the European stance on looking after their elders,
Oh, this is what I'm saying.
which is the wrong stance.
Yeah,
So by us doing what we're doing, I'm hoping that we are setting an example for them. Yeah. When
yeah,
they see
so
us
true.
looking after our parents, hopefully
Yeah.
they will see that and think, okay, that is the right thing to do.
But all right, let me
But
ask an
will
honest
they?
question
I
now. I've got a
don't know.
question for you, Pete.
Mhm.
Everybody. While you are looking after your parent or parents, were your children involved in that process?
Yes, at the moment, um, I can only speak for myself. I'm quite lucky. Yeah. Um, I can call on my children to come in when I'm not here or need to do the odd job here and there to come in and look after them, to look after my mum, look after their grandmother.
Nice.
Yeah. Because it's my mum, but it's their grandmother. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they got to see what's involved. Some are better than others at it. Yeah. I mean, there's some I lean on more.
Hold on a second, Pete. Who's got the carry on scene music in the background?
I don't know.
Because it's undermining what Peter's saying. I'm waiting for Sid James to pop up.
Mikey's the guilty one. I can see.
Mikey's smiling.
Sorry, I was doing something. I'm sorry. I didn't know
Yeah,
it was that loud.
yeah.
Carry
Go,
on
go.
father or
Yeah,
something.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Good. Sorry, Pete.
Go, Peter.
Yeah.
Go, Peter.
Yeah. So basically, it's up to us really to show them because the odds are they're going to stick us in our home and wave goodbye. Yeah. And
Yeah,
hopefully we can show them the right way.
yeah,
Yeah. Because culturally, that ain't what we're supposed to look after our elders culturally.
exactly.
But in this
Yeah.
country now, we've lost that.
And the homes are pretty expensive, Pete.
Tell me about it.
Jeez.
Yeah.
I
I've
mean,
been researching them, man.
yeah,
Yeah.
me on the
And my
whole,
mom's coming here in 2 weeks' time, so I've been researching the
Yeah.
homes.
Yeah.
yeah, me on the whole, I'd say with my kids, it's a no. They're probably more or less what Curtis is saying, chasing the dollar. But at the same time, to be fair on them, I haven't really put them in that situation and asked the question, could you do this? Could you do that? So
Yeah.
I'm not going to categorically say no because, as I said, I haven't really had to put them in that position. So
Yeah, but all right, without putting them in the position, do they show an interest to coming to visit grandma or granddad? Do they actively want to? Because I'm struggling
um,
with that. That's being honest.
Well, my daughter. So I went over the March, and it's the longest I've ever been away from my kids was 6 months, which was
Right.
then. And she said, "You know what? Enough." So I think that would be about the second lockdown, because as far as I was concerned, everything was the lockdown.
Yeah.
Um, and in the October of that year, which is 2020, yeah, she booked her flight, and then they locked it down again, and she stayed with us for 6 months with me
Oh
and my mum.
wow.
And it was about what mommy wanted, so we all, you wash the plates, you do that, you make sure that she gets her tea in the morning. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So I think because I think that sometimes it's by example. So you guys might not think it, but you might be lucky enough to get your kids seeing what you've done for your parents, and they say, "Oh, but we have to look after mom and dad."
Yeah.
But it's the ones who immediately think, "Oh yeah, go to a home," you know. I think, all right, for instance, my mother-in-law, she died when she was 100, which happened last year as well, unfortunately. So, I mean, we had a separation. I was here, and the missus was, I was in Jamaica, and the missus was here because, and they died within 2 months, 2 weeks of each other, right? But she had reached a situation in her life where she was over 100,
Yeah,
and it was then decided, not that nobody wasn't going up there every day to see her, but it was decided that she wants not a day by day or hour by hour, but a minute by minute being looked after. So she went into the home then.
right.
But obviously, her kids were there for her the three of them. They
Yeah,
continually supported her, took her out. You know what I mean? Did everything apart from being at the home, but they would stay there if needed be.
yeah.
Paid a, and
Honestly,
believe you me, they paid a hell of a lot of money
yeah, it's
for it to
expensive.
happen, right? But I just think that in everything, most kids will see their parents, and if their parents, they see their parents getting up and working hard and trying to work, they will follow their parents because they're saying mommy and daddy get up and that's what they have to do. So I
Yeah,
think if we don't lead, if we lead by example and we don't westernize it, and the reason why I say that is because I know that my great grandmom was with my grandmom up until she died, if you
right.
get my gist.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
it's only since, as you say, they started drifting away to America, to England, all over the place, that they said, "Oh, we can't be around you because we've," and the westernized system of, "Oh yeah, you have to work to think." Whereas in our culture, it's more of the family look after them first, then you work to get food. It's more of, you don't work to get food now, it's you just work to make money, if you get my drift. So
yeah,
if the man was in the field or whatever doing, that supported his family. Whereas now it's more of, yeah, and this is what's happening right for even the youth them. If
yeah,
they see a guy out there with a car, he would prefer to have the car more than to be with the family. You
yeah,
know what I mean? He preferred buying the car. Yeah, I need to get the car. Whereas we were more, well, for me, it was more of, yeah, I'll spend, I don't care about that. I want to look after my family rather than get material gain. So I
mm,
think that's what it is. Everybody's been more materialistic, but we
yeah,
need to show them otherwise.
yeah. It's hard.
Yeah, yeah. It's you know what. Let me. Well, I dealt that you guys kind of answered one of the questions I was gonna fling out there.
You had
Um,
questions? Don't try and go
yeah,
like
man.
you had questions. What
Yeah,
questions
I
did
got,
you ever ask?
I've got
One
questions.
question.
I got questions. Please don't do that. Okay, you know, Curtis. When I see you next, when I see you at a certain spot in Brixton, I'm gonna make one of them certain people ask you for a cigarette all evening, all
Oh,
evening. Oh
really?
crap! Anyway, yeah, no. Well, yeah. Basically, one of the questions was I had, but we kind of touched onto it. Is how do we how do we see society in regards to looking after our elders, etc., etc. But that's more or less was
Yeah,
talked about there. So all I was, well, one of the other questions, which Peter, so I put it to the rest of you guys in regards to responsibilities. I know Peter is fortunate enough to have a network, his sons and sister and everything. In regards to like responsibilities, was it divided, or did one person have more responsibility than others in regards to looking after your mum or your dad or your parents in general?
I'll answer that immediately. No, it was only me. As in, one of my brothers was over here. The other one, as I said, and I will say, he was over in Jamaica doing puppy show, talking foolishness. Yeah. So and that in itself made me make my decision, and it was easier for me because then when I'm looking at him not coming, and she only had three kids, one's not there, I'm there on holiday, and the other one's not interested. It was a done deal. I didn't even have to think about it twice. You know what I mean? I just call up everybody. Yeah, I ain't coming back right now. You know, I'm gonna be in Jamaica. So for me, I didn't have that network, which you would expect if you've got siblings. I didn't have that.
Chris.
Well, for me, it's generally me, but as I said, I'm fairly lucky where my mum is still fairly active. It's just that she's deteriorating. I mean, there's certain things she can't do, you know. It was funny because I tried to rearrange the kitchen just to make things more accessible for her, and she went nuts. You know what I mean?
Are you crazy, man?
Wow.
Yeah. You know, it's one of them ones, you know. Trying to make things easy. She still wants to climb up and
respect, son.
stretch up
Rookie
in
respect.
cupboards and
You
stuff
don't
like
mess with the kitchen, brother. You know that. Let it.
True,
that.
true. Turn the place upside down, but leave the kitchen alone.
But you understand? I'm thinking of
Yeah,
her. I'm thinking of her safety and stuff
yeah, of
like that.
course.
Moving
I
things
understand.
to a level
Um,
where she can reach them, and she's like, nah, nah, she ain't having
yeah,
it. So
yeah,
you know, but as I said, unfortunately, I've got a family member that's about at the moment, you know, which makes it easier for me. But
yeah,
at the same time, she's still fairly active. She still cooks, you know. She still
yeah.
does certain things, which you know, so she can be left by herself. It's not a problem
At the
yet.
moment, yeah.
At the moment, yeah. So it's all right for me.
And in my situation, I got two sisters. They're wonderful, and we live good, and we share the thing. But I spent, like I said, with me and mum, it's more me because of
Mm,
the timings of the day,
yeah.
and the girls are really busy, and my sisters are getting on as well. And this
Mm,
is another thing, Jahrrell, about our health. Remember, me and you spoke about it because, no offense, we're both a bit heavier than we should be. Is that fair enough?
No, no, absolutely. I'm fat.
Right,
I'm saying it.
right.
There you go.
So our health, because of looking after, you've got to really remember that this is an old adage, isn't it? The carer needs to take care of the carer, if you know what I mean. And that's for
Yes.
you as well, Pete. You've got to make sure that you're feeling okay because you can't look after anybody if you can't. Because the amount of lifting, my back used to go back 10 years ago, my back went out, and I spent a lot of time doing the exercises just to get my back to a point where it doesn't click out every so often. And
mm,
it's fantastic now, don't get me wrong. But then I realized how much lifting is required to care for somebody. I mean, it's a lot of lifting, don't you find, gentlemen?
Curtis, I'm going through it right now. My back is out.
Oh, wow.
That's exactly since I've been looking after my mum. It's a lot of lifting, and my back is gone. So
mm,
now I'm in the gym. I'm trying to strengthen it, doing stretching. I'm everything in the mornings. If you see me, I'm like an old
Yeah.
man.
mm.
I have to
Well,
get
let
up.
me just say, I've been there, my brother, and the pain is, you can't describe it. But
Yeah,
the exercises are boring, but you
yeah.
got to do them every morning. You just got
That's
to.
what I
And
realized.
I'm at the other side of it now, and I'm going to testify
Yeah,
that even though the physio guy gave me some stuff to do, and I found it so mundane,
yeah,
you just do it. That one where you lay on your back and you lift your knees up to your chest, and
yeah.
then you go left and
Left
right
or
with your
right.
knees.
That's the one.
That's
Yeah,
a game changer, bro.
yeah, yeah,
You do that every morning. You'll be back in no time. Get
yeah.
it back. Oh, forget it. I'm
No, no, but,
proud.
But it's so true
but
because I notice when I take my mom to the doctors, right? The first thing they're more concerned. They show a lot of concern with my health
Good.
because they know if I go down,
Mm.
That's it.
mom's
Nothing,
back on the
nothing.
NHS and back
Mm. Yeah.
on their
The
book.
register.
So
Yeah.
the
On the book.
carers got to take care of themselves.
Yeah.
You
And I
got
say this because my sisters are getting a bit more mature,
right.
you
Yeah.
know, and I'm doing a lot. They won't like me to say this. I'm doing a lot for them as well now. And it's a lot. 'Cause I've got two sisters, you know,
Yeah.
and they're getting on. They're older sisters than me.
Yeah.
And they're getting on. So it would think, oh, Curtis, can you come? And Curtis, can you do? And Curtis, can you? And I'm that guy, so I'm going to do it. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But I am going to start going and finding a little time to do a little exercise more. That's the thing I'm going to do. That's a note to all of us. Just exercise a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, I've got a dog, so I walk the dog pretty much twice a day. But I'm kind of leisurely walking him. It ain't like I'm putting a sweat on. Do you know what I mean? So I'm going to start doing a bit of power walking and stuff with him.
Oh, yeah. I know.
On a personal level.
Yeah. I no. I hear you. Yes, I am on the big side. I'm fat, but I
I
have
didn't say that.
No, I am. No, I can say it. No, I am. I am. But I mean, the thing is, yeah. I mean, back in the day, me, my brother Pete, and everybody used to go gym. The one in Catford, go gym, Sorter, and all them things there. Then you stop. Then family life and raising kids. And to be honest with you, when you're working and doing everything else, that kind of keeps you in a certain way as well. But as you're getting on in age, and again looking after mum, that made me realize how important your diet and your physical strength
Yeah.
is to me. Because as you said, lifting up, I was fortunate. I didn't really have to do that with mum until she had her fall. Unfortunately, when mum had the fall last year October, and I had to lift her up. And I mean, prior to that, I was going gym sporadically for a couple of times a week. And yeah, mum had that fall, and that was it. It was I had to be doing more lifting, more helping mum, walking along to like from bedroom to bathroom to living room, etc., etc. I had to do more of that as the time went on. So yes, Curtis, you're right. We have to look after ourselves on a more mental, just as much as the physical part, because
True.
the mental part
Can I
is just important.
And I'll tell you
can I
this.
just put something in? I'm
Yeah,
gonna put
go on.
something in. I know you guys are talking about exercises and all that. Unfortunately for me, I got arm arthritis in both knees.
Right.
But it's not only the physical aspect of this we must be looking at, because we still have to. You guys talk about diet, but it's not necessarily diet. It's internally that you can have things that you use, natural things, to clean out your thing, because that keeps you fit as
Yeah.
well, whether you believe it or not. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've
So
been
it's not.
exploring those, things and roots and doing the juices and the boiling, the drawing of the stuff like the necessity and all of those things that my father and mother used to swear by. And but I hear you. Whatever you can do, just do. And do take some time out to think about yourself. That's my point, really. I hear what you're saying, Matt, but not only just the physical, but yeah, if it is about eating healthily, it is about making better choices, I think is what we're saying.
Yeah, go on, Chris. Who's going to say?
No, I was just gonna say that my mum had she collapsed earlier this year, and my mum she don't eat, so she's skinny,
Right.
say the least. And she had and I went to pick her up, and I was like, Lord Jesus, the woman was heavy.
Yeah,
so,
so true.
so trust me, you know what I mean. It's
Mm,
something that you have to be fully aware of your health and stuff. You know.
Yeah.
yeah.
No, no,
And I come from
no.
a big bone family. So my family, as skinny as they might be, I had an auntie that got down to really slim, but my word,
Yeah.
heavy,
Oh, I'm telling
heavy.
you. Yeah.
Yeah,
Hmm.
it's challenging. It is challenging. But like I said, it has made me realize how important diet,
Yeah.
mentally as well. As common thing, yeah, being able to have 5-10 minutes for yourself and gather your thoughts while
Yeah.
all this is going on, which sometimes it's kind of hard.
Yeah.
But yeah, just being able to do that. I mean, I wasn't fortunate enough to have. I did it all by myself. I didn't have
Yeah.
anybody. I know one. I know my kids came down one weekend. I went to last year. I went to a weekend, so my children came down, and they stayed with my mum while I went away for that one weekend. But prior to that, I didn't really ask them because at that point when I realized my mum was going in and out of hospital and everything like that, they were either going college or finishing high school, and they obviously had their exams. I didn't want to put that on them.
Yeah.
I didn't want to put that. They were at that age, exams and everything else. I didn't want to put that on them. So I just carried on doing what I was doing, and yeah, when my mum had the fall, I had to give up work completely for about 6 months. I didn't do anything from let's see the October till literally the Easter. I didn't do no work because the other thing is I saw my mum because she was asking me after the fall, about literally days after that. I said, I'll go work. I'll be back in a couple of hours. And she said, oh, when did I come back? And I could see the look in her face. She was frightened to be by herself. Beforehand, that wasn't the case.
Yeah.
She'd want me to go out because many a time before the fall, I'd come back and I know she'd be in the kitchen. She's made tea, she's made that, she's done things, she's made a mess. But I didn't want to send out,
Yeah.
That was her way of being independent. What I did, I just tied it up and just carried on. But like I said, after the fall, she was asking me how long I'm going to be and things. So
Yeah.
I just said to myself, you know what, there's no point. Let me just don't bother work for a period. And yeah, it's just the only time I left is I had to do shopping, maybe go gym every now and then in the mornings. But it was there. But most of the time it was like stay there and we'll sit, and like weekends it was TBN. That was mum's thing, the Christian channel. So turn that on and give her whatever drink she wanted and blah blah blah, and that's it. But no, it was mostly myself. And yeah, like I said, Peter would ferry my mum back and forth to hospital. My cousin Audrey would come by and take mum's blood pressure and all that sort of stuff. But the majority of it was myself. But I know there are others in the same situation. If you've got family and a large network, yeah, use them. Use them if they want to help, because that's the other thing. You could have 10 brothers and 10 sisters. That's if they want to help, So and there are people out there who have siblings, but in reality they're doing it all by themselves.
Yeah,
because that's the
that's
thing. Because
so true. Isn't it? Sometimes having siblings doesn't make it any easier.
doesn't make it any easier. Absolutely, yeah. On paper, people think that you've got he's good, man. He's got so and so and so and so and so and so, but in reality, it's not the case.
Yeah.
So, for whatever reason,
I'll tell you one thing though. It's not all doom and gloom. I mean, I've learnt after looking after my mum. I've learnt new skills. Yeah, because
good.
No, okay. Take cooking for instance, right? I would never thought in this that I'd be cooking Saturday soup.
What?
Iansley.
Cooking hard food, cooking, rice and peas and chicken and everything, and doing
culinary chef.
Yeah. The thing is, those things I used to go to my mum.
Yeah, to
go and get. Yeah, and now because mum's got dementia, those are the foods she recognizes still.
Yeah.
So if I wanted to have a good meal, I mean, I still do the fry and all the rest of it, but she still needs to get a good meal, and those are the kind of foods.
Those are her comfort foods, isn't it?
So I've had to learn, I have to think, when you're young, you try and watch your parents do this and that and cook and that,
Yeah.
But now you got to put all that into practice.
Exactly.
Yeah. And hopefully, them skills will keep me going when I get in my old age.
Yeah. And then you can pass them on to the next generation.
Yeah, well, this is it.
That's beautiful.
If they want to learn.
Yeah.
If they want to learn, because
if they want to eat, they're gonna learn.
Yeah.
Like delivery.
Because the time of delivery will be out, but they'll have to cook at some point, man.
Yeah. She want cornmeal porridge.
Yeah. Without a truckload of sugar in it.
Holy pocket. Oh Lord.
Jahrrell, why are they putting? When did this sugar and rice start?
Are you asking me? Forget the sugar and rice and well, look here. Let's not get mash up the internet. Let's not mash up the internet with the sugar in bakes and dumplings.
Because I know you talk about things on your show quite regularly.
Yeah,
I haven't eaten like the rice and peas. Somebody gave me some. I was in Nottingham yesterday, and they gave me rice and peas at the gig, and it had sugar in it. It was the sweetest thing in regards to food, but horrible, absolutely disgusting. And I could taste with the sugar. I didn't know that was a thing. I didn't even know that.
That's rice.
That's new to me. That's new to me.
It's like having jerk rice, isn't it?
Huh?
Jerk rice and
you sure it wasn't like one of Mr. Oliver's subsidiary shops or something like that?
They had sugar in the rice. I couldn't understand why.
No.
Yeah, well,
But
that's
I
why
know
we're all suffering now. Sugar's got everything in it. Sugar's in everything.
Yeah, so sugar that
Yeah,
keep
but I
you on
mean,
your
what kind of sugar? White sugar or brown sugar? Sorry.
doesn't
I
matter.
don't know. It was just
Sugar is
sweet,
sugar.
man. It was just
Sugar is
sweet.
sugar, correct.
Yeah.
Sugar
It
is
was,
sugar. Yeah,
yeah.
it doesn't matter.
Nah, sugar ain't sugar. White sugar is sugar beet. Brown sugar is sugar cane.
And
No, oh,
Just so
yeah,
you
but
know
when it
that.
when it
yes, yeah,
goes
we
in the
know that,
body,
but
it acts the same.
exactly,
When
yeah,
it goes in the
exactly,
body, it acts exactly the
The
same, no
same.
matter
Yeah.
where it
Okay.
yeah.
Right.
So
I've never
yeah,
heard of sugar. Yeah. I know people to make rice and peas sweet. Depending on all those who eat pork, pig's tail used to go in there. And you cook down the pig's tail with it, and it gives it a different flavoring.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Right.
okay.
However, was this a West Indian?
Yeah.
I have
West
to ask.
Indian. West Indian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really? No,
Oh
they're
man,
making up.
it was
But you
disgusting.
gotta realize
It really shook me to the core. I nearly didn't come on your show because of it.
you gotta realize we are the product of slavery. Yeah. So we were brought up, we were forced to eat the poor parts of the animal. So pig's tail, trotters, cow foot.
Mm.
That's what we learned to eat because that's all that
Chicken
was
butt.
available. So now that is our
Mm.
Yeah.
yeah, it's a throwback
The
to
food.
But you know, it's
all
all
of
those
this.
you've just mentioned that become gourmet meals now.
Well, this is it.
Mm.
Yeah.
Oxtail now is a delicacy for them people.
Don't get me started on the price of oxtail. My goodness.
I don't eat oxtail, so
I love
that ain't
oxtail.
affecting me.
You know
I,
the
I don't eat.
oxtail?
No,
No, I
but
don't eat. No, I don't.
no, I'm just saying it's strong points that Peter's making there. You know what I mean? As you say, all of them foods there, as he's mentioned, you know what I mean? They
Yeah.
become delicacies now, for real.
For real, man.
Yeah, we've all had to up our cooking skills.
That's true.
Looking. Yeah, no, yeah, because I mean, I when I had my children, when I was living with them and everything, my mum taught me and my brother how to cook from early because I remember her saying, "You must not rely upon any woman."
Yeah.
No, and that's the thing. I can't speak for now, but she used to make us cook from early. I think one of the first things she made me and Colin cook was like just a simple scrambled egg,
Yeah.
and then from there it was fritters, not fish cake, fritters. And,
Selfish
you
with
know,
that.
start with fritters and slowly and surely, then it was the king of, then you get the chicken, she'll show us to wash it, and it'll be then from then it'll be like you season it, and as time will go by, and like I said, when I was with the family, cook for my children and everything. Like I mean, for me, like my size is not about from going from back and forth to KFC. It's the cooking,
Yeah.
you
It's
know.
cooking, yeah.
It's to cook food, yeah. Because like when I cook, I say this all the time. When I cook, oven door clap, I can cook. Is that simple? But we've all. I'm sure we all have a signature dish now. I'm sure you must have one, Chris. I'm sure Mikey has one. I'm sure Peter has one. There's a particular dish
What
that we
about
know
me?
we can do it. Sorry, Curtis. Yes, and you as well. Sorry, sir.
Oh,
Sorry. We all have a signature dish that we can cook it blindfold. And like our parents, when we was looking at our parents and say, "Mom, how much of this you put into that?" And they said, "Joe, man, just put some of this," and they're
yeah.
just like fling it in.
Yeah.
Where we're using measuring cup.
Yeah.
I understand. So
Yeah.
that's the difference between them and us. We can do
Yeah.
it, but
Can Jarrell, speak for yourself.
yes,
Speak for yourself. Sorry.
I ain't paying no
I
mind.
I kind of, like you said, when I was younger, I learned how to cook from I was like 12, but that's because I was in a one of those schools in Jamaica, went boarding school.
Okay.
Um,
Oh, he's a rude
oh,
you.
huh?
He was a
Nah,
rude you.
no, I had to, I had to learn to wash my clothes and that because I
Yeah,
was
but
on my
yeah,
own.
because no, you was a rude you. You put into boarding schools, you was a rude you.
No, I won a
All right, say so.
scholarship. I won a scholarship. Let's get it
Oh,
right.
big
Anyway,
excuse I. Anyway,
anyway, I think because my mom only had boys, again, that made it things. I haven't got a favorite dish. I just know that if you say rice and peas, I could cook it. You say you are a rundown, I could cook it because it was one of my. And the weirdest thing about it all, it wasn't my mom that started teaching me how to cook. It was my dad.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So yeah, I learned how to do pepper pot, rundown, you name me. I did it because he would say, "Sit down, there, son.
Yeah.
See what me do." You know
You
what I
know
mean?
you can only do 3 dishes. He meant to run down 4 times.
Yeah.
I could do rundown. I might even do a rundown. If you test it, I might do a rundown.
Oh, you get car talk, Reggie. You get car talk. What you did, the man, sir?
You have to mind what you talk on here.
What you did, the man, sir? We did a man suffer. But no, but that's the thing. That for me, chicken, any chicken dish,
Yeah.
you know, curry, stew, fricassee. If you know about fricassee, I don't think that you don't know about fricassee. Well, you lie, ask your mother. So, but no, but yeah, I just think now, unfortunately, my daughter can cook to a certain stage. My son could. He could do rice and peas in the rice cooker.
Nice.
But I taught him that. I don't eat
Yeah.
rice and peas, so I taught him how to do rice and peas in the rice cooker. I haven't. I don't care. Anybody wanna call me a witch or douse me in flames? Good luck to them. But this the world we live in. I ain't got no time staying over no pot no more. I
No,
don't eat
man,
rice
you
and
want
peas. So
to do the
I
look.
fling it. I do rice and peas in the rice cooker. You
Where
wanna?
do you stand on the air fryer, Jahrrell?
You know
Nothing's
what?
wrong with that. Hey, you
Air
know the
fry.
we say we're talking about our culture. Do you guys know that in Jamaica at this moment, and I'm not going to deter from it, it's just that you're
Yeah.
talking about food. There's a lot of good women that can't cook.
Yeah.
And that in my days when I was growing up was sacrilege. They all go
Really?
Kentucky, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kentucky is the place to go in Jamaica.
Yeah.
So
So
I
No.
mean, it's not. I think it's great, and it is something that we need to instill in our kids, our culture, as in that's why I was talking about westernized our
mm,
culture that we have or we learn how to cook. You know, I even as they say, boil water. But I
yeah.
think that's like one of the things that I think because it's been everybody said them can't cook West Indian. Everybody can cook jerk,
Yeah.
right? I think it's something that we need to give to our kids because it's not just about it's for me. We're talking about how we look after our parents, and that's the most essential. That's what the subject is about. But it's more about how are we coping to make sure that we keep up our culture the way it was before. We teach the kids. Our
I don't
parents
know,
keep
Michael,
up.
man. I think it's hard. I think what happens with our culture, and I know this isn't, I'm not speaking for everybody, but I'm looking at the history of us. We don't respect our own culture. So we lose everything. We lose our art, we lose our music, we lose our food. Everybody else embraces it, shows love for it. We never did that. We struggled to do that. Now you've got white people selling you jerk rice
Yeah.
or jerk beans. And our children are buying into it and they go to it don't matter. They go to a restaurant that has a chain that is a kind of
The
Jamaican
Yeah.
Caribbean.
turtle.
All
I would
right, there
say
you go.
Turtle Bay,
Yeah.
an abomination.
And
Turtle
then
Bay is an
years ago,
abomination.
one of my boys was mad about it and said, "Yeah, let's go there. Let's go." I went there once, never again.
Yeah.
And I'm trying
Yeah,
to explain to him: is anything you've eaten taste any better than what you eat at home? And he goes, "No, but you're paying nearly £15 for it. Does that make any sense to you?" And it's
no.
disgusting. And then, to be
What?
fair to them, they never went back there. But it's the robbery and the rape of our culture for everything. And until we embrace it, we celebrate it. Years ago, people were scared to tell people that we ate
Yeah.
Bigfoot and oxtail and all that. You're
Exactly.
scared to tell people, "Oh, no, 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 I just had some beans and a quiche." You know what I mean?
You see,
And
Yeah,
then,
hey,
and then everybody else is celebrating our food now. And I think, like they say, I think it's too late. I think we've lost that now.
well, what it is, as a people, because of our doctrination, we're always looking acceptance from the white man.
Yeah,
Until the white man accepts it, then the white man accepts it, then sells it back to us.
yeah, it's great.
Yeah, then it's great. I'll never forget the time I went to Jamaica one time, and in Jamaica they were buying ackee in a tin from the USA.
Yeah.
Yes.
That
Yes.
And I'm like,
so
what's
true.
going on here?
Yeah.
So
Guys,
true.
that ain't the worst thing.
Yeah,
That ain't the worst.
I'm sorry. I'm gonna say this to you. You say Aki,
yeah,
right? So earlier this year, I was in Jamaica and I saw the Jamaican government buy a ton of weed from Canada.
Do you
what?
hear
Does
this,
that make
people?
sense?
Do you hear this,
What?
people?
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Let's be clear here,
Yeah.
right? I'm not saying that you must smoke it. It's got a wholly
Yeah.
medicinal purposes.
Yeah,
I saw the Jamaican government. I'm not talking no private people.
Yeah.
Take Jamaican tax dollars and buy a ton of Canadian weed,
no,
The
That's
world's
and
such
gone
a
that's
mad.
Jamaica for you, right?
That's such a
The world's
perfect
gone mad.
example you've done there. Now. That's a
yeah,
perfect example. When Jamaica was cutting, sending man to jail for weeds and over the
yeah,
years, weed, you got jail, you got jail, and the world was growing weed. The
yeah.
world and
That's right.
Jamaica were one of some of the best weed back then was Jamaican weed. Right? The best weed was Jamaican weed years ago. I don't know what's coming out now, but it's all synthetic, it's all bad. And now the world is telling, and that's so true. Now Jamaica has to go and import weed for medicinal purposes, but importing weed to Jamaica.
Yeah,
And when people say that, you think it's a joke, but it's so true.
yeah.
So
All right,
true.
all right, gents. I'm gonna get back on topic, so to speak. That you know what that
Mm.
it's the world's gone upside down, no doubt about it. But all right, I'm gonna bring in now because it's what quarter two. It's quarter
Yes,
two.
sir.
So yeah. So I'm gonna bring in Janice, and she is gonna basically for the last 10, 15 minutes imparts for those who are watching, listening, etc. And just give out some information on like who to go, where to see. I mean, we've been down there already, but there's a lot of us that. But whatever she gives, whatever you take out of this today, and if it just helps one person, it's a good thing. So let me bring if I can bring her on. Let me see. All right, Janice. Hello, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
All right, cool.
Hi, guys.
How you doing? Right, right. So anyway, Janice, with your pearls of wisdom, with the information you got, just for those who are new to this or those who are just about to be looking after somebody, just yeah, get them the information what you have, and hopefully people can. Oh, and I'm going to say this to people now: grab a pen and a paper, or
Well, I
and or
haven't got
listen.
numbers.
No,
I
oh, yeah,
haven't
no
got
numbers.
numbers because
No, all right, then
I
fine.
think,
Go on, but well, just give them names of where they could go, then and then they can look for themselves.
well, it's different because I've been trying to do research and trying to. Hi, guys. It's been
Right.
really good listening to you guys, and I've laughed. I've gone down memory lane. I've done the whole thing. So you guys, well done. You know what I mean? You've touched on so many things that I would have touched on anyway. So you've kind of
Okay.
gone through most of a lot of the stuff that I would have said.
All right. So sorry.
No. Listen, it's been a pleasure. It's been a pleasure. This because obviously, as women, we talk to each other. And we're supposed to be the ones that are always chatty, but it's good to hear that guys are taking this thing seriously. We take it seriously because we all know somebody, or we've all been through it. I've had many a conversation with Jahrrell over it, and it's been really good listening to you guys. Hit all the different topics. For me, what I think I would say to people in general is there's not one thing, there's not one size that fits all of our situations because we're all coming from different walks. Our parents are all in different situations, and it's difficult to sort of say, right, go here, go there. I think there's a few things we could take from our situations and just try to remember whilst we're going through these difficult times is that you're right, whether we have siblings or whether you're an only child, one of five, one of seven, you always got that one person that your parent is comfortable with sharing or, that your family sees as that person that can handle it. It's like, okay, they'll do it because they're used to it or, they've been there while everybody else is kind of just getting the feedback, how they're doing, what's happening. I think there's a few things we need to remember or that we can take from just thinking about it, because once we're going through it, it's a whirlwind. If you don't get time to touch the ground, stress levels are high. It will take the tightest of families, it will fragment them, going through these sort of situations. So it's just, and it's sometimes we forget how to support our friends who are going through it. We don't talk about it. You don't want to bring it up, because if you bring up how you're feeling, you don't want to upset your family members. Your friends don't know what to say to you. So I think if I was going to say something to anybody, if you're a friend, remember to check in, ask the questions how you're feeling, be that supportive listening ear, allow people to vent, talk, share. Depending on if your parents are in hospital, in at home, there's always that, you have to rely on your wherever you live, whether it be doctors, you know, OTs, hospitals. You have to engage with them in order to, but it's all about your family, making sure your loved one is cared for. Not everybody can bring them home. Not everybody's, has the opportunity to move in with them. But as I think as a society, that's what we do as our culture. That's what happened in my family. My brother moved in my grandmother, because after, the 4 visits a day, you then have sort of 8 o'clock in the evening to 8 o'clock in the morning. And not everybody has somebody that can step in and take care of them. So it's always important that we do find time, lean on your family. Your children will only know what we show them. Children are only going to really know how we look after our parents, is how they're going to look after our parents and us. We're all of age. So nobody's, we're not 25 running around still trying to have life. We have the opportunity to show your children, as I said, everybody's in different situations. So remember to check in on your friends. Don't stop inviting them out. Make sure they have somebody that they can listen to, that can hear them and support. You can support from a distance. When you say to somebody, look, if you need something, I'm here, mean it. If you're going to be that listening ear, then listen. So much time people want to bet, oh, when I did it and no, bring it back. Be that listening ear to them. Be that person that they can sort of say, listen, today's not a good day. Or today I had to, even if it's just running down your day, I had to speak to this person, sort out that, because this is not an easy situation to be dealing with. And it's not necessarily, it's bad enough when somebody's, at that point where they are so ill that they can't do anything. But we have parents that are with us still that are struggling with long-term illnesses that we now have to navigate through. My mum had a stroke 20 years ago. We still navigate through that. My mum's as sharp as anything. In fact, sometimes she's too sharp. But COPD slows them down. It's doctor's appointments, it's hospital appointments. You guys have covered so much in the different circumstances. As I said, I don't have numbers that you can, because obviously we can all go on the internet, and whether it's bereavement counselling, whether it's, information that we need, it's going to vary with the different counts, the local authorities that you live in, the situation. If your mum's in a council house or in their own homes, if you are considering care homes, it's a lot of money, but then government will make you sell the family home. There's so many different, so I can't give you one set of information that's going to help anybody. What I can do is to sort of say to you guys that it's a situation where take time for yourself. And as I said, you guys have covered so many things that I would have spoken about, in just remembering your own health, remembering your own well-being. Take a 5 minutes to yourself, exercise, speak to people, still go out socially, still take that time to, confront or comfort somebody who might be going through the same thing. The good thing is that you guys are talking about it, because so many people are going through these things and they're not speaking about it, and they're suffering, not suffering in silence. Sometimes people don't realize that, somebody's gone through it and can help, because we help each other. I have friends going through it. I've been through certain things. They're going through certain things, and it's just a different way of thinking about a situation. Okay, yeah, I could do that, and it's just taking time to just, take a step back, take a deep breath. Another thing, I'm still in a partner. Thank you very much. Yeah, partners are still going strong. You understand? It's not the same. We're not governing at the house. I remember I used to have to go and phone my grandmother's partner. But now it's all through the bank and your drawer. Nobody's teething nothing because your drawers come into your bank account. So you're not losing out, you know? But yeah, I mean, look, you know, as I said, you guys have touched on so many things. And it's been helpful to sort of listen and to constructively see how you guys are thinking. So I think sometimes people don't realize that guys have to deal with these sort of things. You're having to cook for your parents. You're having to make sure that they're safe. You know, my mum is the same. She doesn't want to be on her own, but she's quite independent. She still cooks. 20 years after a stroke is a long time to have COPD. And my mum is, I would say that she has sickness anxiety because any cold or, you know, anything on her chest and that's it. She's like, Lord God, Jesus, oh no, that mum, we've been here, take your antibiotics. It's okay. It's that, and I do a lot of, you know, but it's again, it's just taking your time with them. They're scared, they're worried, they're concerned. Life is not the same. They don't always have somebody that can be at the beck and call. You know, lockdown was, I think, an eye opener for a lot of people because I moved in with my mum. Like, I didn't give up work, but I moved in with my mum. My daughter is not TikToking, quite frankly. She's going to be 19 next week. However, you know, she's a carer. She made the breakfast before she went to school, and then I did breakfast and lunch and dinner because I'm working from home. Made sure I worked from home. There's things that you can do. You don't have to change your whole life. I think there's a lot to be said for looking after your parents. It's grounding for your kids. It's grounding for you. It's setting an example, and we don't want to lose that aspect of looking after the elderly in our communities. That's aunties, that's uncles, that's, you know, people that's living next door, but you know that they don't have anybody regular. It doesn't really matter. You know, we all have to pull in together. And it's good to know that we can pull you guys in as well because it's, you know, it's a situation where we all need to, you know, have each other's backs and allow somebody to speak and ask the question. And you know, you guys, the thing is, somebody can ask you a question. It's about you guys feeding back and say, well, actually, no, I'm not doing good. You know, this is hard. It's okay. It's okay not to be okay. People say it, but it is okay not to be okay. But in general, you know, it's not easy. It's not easy, and people do it very well without no problems. Other people will struggle, and we need to be there for the people who are struggling. Can't take over, but we can help. You know, yeah. It's nice that everybody's kind of just been silent. I've been a little
No, because we're listening. Because you know why? Because, and I'm going to say all this now, because we're all looking after mothers and so on. Is that nurturing the voice?
Yeah.
The calm, the voice, the intellect, because you know we're on here like rah. But as soon as you a woman's voice, everybody like shut up. let them talk.
Yeah.
You know, so no. Well, in this moment anyway, another situation, different argument. But anyway, but no. But no.
Only,
Thank you so
only
much.
you, Jahrrell.
But, thank you so much. But no. You know what? It is. I have to thank everybody that took, because I'm looking on the time and it's coming up.
Actually, can I give one piece of
Yeah.
advice to people as well
Go ahead.
regarding finance? Has everyone done a lasting power of attorney?
Mhm.
If you've got
Very important.
living parents, whatever it is, get a health and finance power of attorney
Bless you.
over your parents so that you can control. Because not that you want to take over all their business, but when the time comes, yeah, you want to be able to put certain things in place. And if you ain't got control of their finances, their health situation, government takes over, and you, especially upon if they pass or anything, and you haven't got no power of attorney, they're in hospital, you're gonna have problems dealing with financial situations.
But
100%.
going on the back of that,
100%.
I know some parents might not want you to do it, but if you can get your name on their bank accounts, it's
That's
much
right.
easier. So even talking about power of attorney, you
That's
need to
right.
get your name on their bank account,
Bank accounts,
or else
yes.
you won't have no access to their money until
Yeah.
you know what I mean.
Okay.
Yeah, no, that's paramount. No, no, absolutely, that's
Yeah,
paramount.
very important.
I
Yeah,
know a
yeah,
lot of
that's
parents
paramount.
would like you to, they're very private about their finances, but
Mm.
this is something you've got to kind of,
You've got to talk to
Yeah.
them.
you've got to talk to them and put it in place.
Yeah, and the sooner the better, because
Yeah.
unfortunately,
Yeah.
you don't. Not that you're wishing it at anybody, but
Yeah,
you know,
but you never talk
what you don't, what you don't know is that you don't do it, and then something happens, and you're like,
Yes.
crap. If
That's
only I did it last week or the week before. So,
Yeah.
just I would say to anybody, if you haven't done it now, do it.
Do it, do it
Do,
now.
do it this week. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and also I suppose know where all the documentation is, i.e.,
Yes.
life insurance, any policies. Try put them all in one area, in one
Yeah.
place, because I'm doing that now with mine. So that next time my kids come down, I can just tell them, look here, what if anything happen to me, everything is in this drawer, in this envelope, etc., etc. So put all that in place now. I know we don't want to talk about it, but because we're still relatively young, we still could walk up and down a flight of steps, etc., etc. But again, looking after my mum has taught me these things are important. When my mum was telling me about this sort of 20 years ago, actually no, when Colin passed, that's when my mum started talking. We had these conversations, and I was flippant with it. But then but I think a year afterwards, I realized, you know what, it does make sense. It does make sense. So yeah, we need to. I mean, my mum was telling me, showing me where when we dead, these we were burying at this. She had her dress and her shoes and her. Uh, it's like and that's what we got to do. And when it's not a conversation we don't want, because of course we don't. None of us want our parents to leave us at any stage, but it will happen. Yeah, so you just
And
have
we've
to
got to realize as well, we're next in line.
correct,
Yes.
correct.
So
Definitely.
we've got to put this in place for our kids as well.
Mm.
We're talking about
Yes,
our parents, but our kids as well. It's got to be, it's a thing we've got to pass on down, because you got to realize it's totally different. But we don't pass on no generational wealth or anything like that. Yeah. So power of attorney, insurances, all them kind of things we need to put in place so that our kids can benefit as well. Because not until one of your parents pass or something before you realize the difficulties
You're
of not having a
navigating.
will.
Yeah.
If you don't have a will, power of attorney, or anything like that in place, you are in trouble.
Mm.
Sometimes I think we kind of forget. I mean, I think sometimes in life things show us when we do lose somebody, or somebody else loses somebody, you think to yourself, listen, I need to get this in lined up. And as I said, I have one child. She knows all my insurances, work insurance. I've nominated her on my work insurance, her number of insurance, because you have to nominate your kids. I've only got one, so I made sure she was nominated from a young age, and then had my sister as power of attorney. Now it's just my daughter; she's 18. So you kind of need to remember that when you want these things in line, and speak to people. If you've got a life insurance, you want 10% to go to your niece and your nephew, whatever. Put it in place. Let people know. I put all of it in place, not because I think I'm going to go tomorrow, but you just never know. And I think things kind of puts it into perspective when you have to deal with it first time round, and when you have to deal with somebody who's look. We take things for granted. My dad used to say to me, if anything happens to me, here's the policy. And I used to be like, gosh, why are you telling me this now? And then my dad passed away last year, and it was almost like before I think I saw it as oh god, I got to sort all of this out. But I was his power of attorney, and I was down as his next of kin, and it was almost a pleasure to make sure that he was, it was taken care of the right way. I'm not an only child, however, everybody understood that this, and I didn't take over. I involved everybody, but there's a certain amount of now that you're going to do this. I did everything. It's almost like it was therapeutic for me. I organized everything. I made sure nobody didn't put their hand in their pocket. I made sure, but that was therapeutic. That's the only way that I could deal with it. And I think your parents know who to pick. Yeah.
Yeah.
Your parents know who's going to handle it better, and it's not necessarily the oldest one. And that's no disrespect to your older brothers and
That's
sisters.
right.
I'm not the oldest one.
Mm.
Um, I might be a bit of the harder one, but I'm not the oldest one. But it just meant that everything was taken care of. I asked for help. I wasn't just leaving anybody out. I didn't pick everything myself. However, just remember to have, you can have that conversation without it being morbid or that you're, putting word on yourself. It's nice to organize it now because everybody's in agreement. Everybody knows, as I said, the ties of families can get fragmented by somebody who you all love passes away.
But that, Janice, as you said, the thing about your parent or parents, they always nominate somebody, but that causes resentment. I've seen it in the past,
Yeah, yeah,
because
it can do.
mum and dad is saying,
You
because
always gonna say it.
yeah, you see mum and dad say, oh, so and so, when if anything gone, so and so is in charge, and if you got brother says, oh, so what about me? And that causes resentment later on down the line, which is unfortunate, because all they're saying is, look, they see, they're not saying that you're not worthy or nothing like that, but they see certain characteristics in, as you said, not the first. It could be a middle child, but that
Yeah.
child they see somebody's a bit more,
Responsible.
they
Doesn't it say a
responsible.
lot
Yeah,
about us? If my mum had said that, my sister, that wasn't it? I think it says more about us that we didn't respect your parents' decision
Mm.
because you're almost questioning it
Mm.
yeah,
as to
of course you are.
why
Yeah,
that person, and that's the
yeah,
person that might have been there. That's
Yeah.
the person that might have understood what they were going through at the time. It's not necessarily
correct.
your,
Well, for me,
And
right, for me, I'm the last one, so I'm listening to you guys and I'm smiling. I'm the youngest, and my parents would never, if I was even over here, and they had something to do with the house, or they wanted to make sure that they got a title for the land or anything, we're waiting until Michael comes, and then when I go over, then they will say, "All right, you could bring your brothers in, or what you want to do," and then I will talk to everybody, and I'll do it. But I was the last one, and I'll say, as again, I said at the beginning, that me doing that was one of the best things I've ever done in my life. Not for the sake of that I had power of attorney over my mom and dad's things, but more of that my mom and dad were there and they needed me,
yeah,
and they helped me to become a better person at the same time, learning different skills, So
Yeah,
I understand this family thing, but we in the culture need to get rid of what my mother this and my mother that, and see if we can put things together to help each other. Not
Yes.
not to, yeah, I want this. They never leave me not. That's foolish.
but that's
They
human
gave
nature,
us
though.
life. Yeah,
Yeah.
but
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 again,
we
that,
that
need
I
to
said
get
that
rid of
says
it.
it says a lot about that person. If
Yeah.
somebody's there fishing through the belongings before somebody's
Yeah.
even passed away, that says a lot about that person,
Exactly.
as
but we,
opposed to our culture. You
Yeah.
know,
but but unfortunately, we hear these stories all the time, and it's human
all the
nature.
time,
It's
all
human
the
nature.
time,
We hear
and
these stories.
it's
So
too often. You
yeah,
know, it's
d-
too
d-
often.
definitely, definitely. All right, ladies and gents, I'm gonna just after 2 now, so I'm gonna wrap this up. So because I know
Okay.
everybody have peas are boil, etc., etc.
I got a
Or
turkey for one.
What, in the rice
or
cooker?
in the rice cooker. That's right. I listen.
Listen,
I
I'm
know
not
this
saying
is
nothing. My
yeah,
daughter's only just gone to
yeah,
university about three
yeah.
weeks ago. Best believe I sent her with a rice cooker and the air fryer. Yeah, because student life ain't easy. Yeah.
Not easy at all. Rice and peas in the rice cooker is better than ambrosia rice out of the tin. Right. So let me leave it as that. Right. Anyway, with that, I
Uh,
you know what? Thank you to all of you who took part today and agreed to do this. Curtis, bless. Chris, bless. Mikey, bless. Janice, bless. Peter, thank you, bless. To everybody who looked in and watched Facebook and Mixcloud, I hope people can take bits and pieces from this conversation and yeah, and make use of it and have an understanding of what's going on, because a whole heap of people are going through this behind closed doors, and we haven't got a clue. Haven't got a clue. Yeah, you see us, we're out and about, playing music, raving, whatever, a smile on our face at that moment. But then when we go home, when you push the key through the door, reality kicks you, slaps you in the face, and boom, you forget all about that again. So, yeah, I thank. Yeah, so just bear that in mind, people. So, like I said, I thank you all for taking part. Thanks, Danny Slim. I'll bring him on again for another topic. I don't know what the next topic is. I've got a couple of ideas, but if I think they're worthy, I got two ideas already, but I know women will hate me. I gotta say that from now. Women will hate me. One of the topics I got, women will hate me, but we'll see. But that
intrigued.
aside, well, there you have it. But like I said, thank you to everybody who took part, listened in. I hope you were able to take out something out of this and learn something out of this. And like I said, it's good to talk. And I'm hoping, as black men in particular, because like I said at the very beginning, we get beat down for a lot of things, and some of it's justified, but a lot of it isn't. So yeah, just keep on talking, sharing your stories, talking, embracing, hug each other, and say I'm there for you, because that's one of the other things as well, saying that we're there for you, So yeah, all of that, and hopefully, if our children will take on board some of our characteristics, some of our traits, can only hope and pray with all of that as well. So, like I said, thanks for taking part, take a bow. And yeah, people, until the next time, I don't know when the next one is, but I'll inform you when the next one is. Yeah, and thanks a lot. All right, do any of you guys want to say a goodbye to anybody or anything before we go?
No, I'll just say, thank you for doing this podcast. As you say, something that's dear to a lot of people, and they don't, as you said, they suffer in silence and stuff like that. So it's good to make people aware. So, thanks for doing this podcast.
Yeah, no. Thank you for taking part. And like I said, yeah, Peter, anything?
Well,
Any last words or anything, Peter?
just to say, well, everyone, if you know someone in the situation, reach out. Every little helps. Is that what they say? Doesn't matter what it is. Everyone goes through a different situation. Whatever you can do. I mean, even if you see this is about the elderlies. Even if you see an elderly person struggling, I've seen people on the street struggling. Yeah. Some people say I'm too soft, but reach out. Say, are you all right? As as a younger generation, I don't think we reach out to our elders enough. So I'm just saying, if you can help. There's no pride or shame in not helping.
Well, they say it takes a community, though. That's the term,
Right.
isn't it? There you go. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks to both for putting this on, because this is
No. Look. Like I said, this is dear to my heart, and like I said, with all the conversations I've had with people, and there's loads. I mean, like I said, Danny Slim, he sacrificed a lot. I mean, there were times when he wanted to go to the States. As Curtis was sure to know these stories as well, but he couldn't do it because he had to look after his dad. We make tons of sacrifices, big and small, when you're looking after a loved one, big and small. And his own. Some people appreciate it, some people don't. But you know what? At that moment in time, it's the best thing you could ever do. And it's not about the gain within the community or financial and like that. It's for me. It's a duty. Our parents looked after us from day dot till. I mean, even now, if you've got a parent, even though they're not physically looking after you, but mentally, and they're parting on their advice is still looking after you. So I found it as a duty. I know that it's not for everybody, and yeah, we live in a world now where care homes are the norm, and putting an elderly person in a care home is the norm, even within our community, which is a shame. Not everybody can look after somebody, and obviously if you've got complications and so on, I get it, but it's not how it used to be. Anyway, that's me. Curtis, what's your part in final say, sir?
Well,
please.
what I'd like to ask is this instead of your music show, or you gonna have your music show after this?
No, no, I'm not doing no music today.
Oh,
No, 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 not today. I do intend to carry on doing live streams, playing music, but not today. Funny enough, later on, I'm doing another chat show podcast thing later on at about 6 o'clock in the evening with some other gentlemen. So yeah, you'll be watching my round face again later on. But yeah, if you got anything else, Curtis, thanks
no,
again.
I'm
Thanks
good,
for
man.
you're good. Thanks a lot
Yeah,
for your wise words and your
and lovely to
and
meet you all. I'm gonna leave the chat because I've got to go. But blessing,
yeah.
man. This is lovely.
No
Same here.
worries. Thanks a lot. We'll
Good
catch
to
up.
talk.
Yeah, thank you. We'll catch up. Thanks a lot,
Take care.
Chris. Yeah,
Bye.
take it.
Thank you, sister.
Yeah, you got anything, Chris, or you good?
Well, I said what I said. I mean, they're just
Uh,
about thank you for the podcast, etc. Because
all
of
right, cool.
just making people aware of what we're going through, and all of that.
Uh,
So thanks for that.
all right, young lady Janice.
So, yeah, you've done a good job. Well done. It's good to bring these things to light and give people a platform to just share their thoughts and their stories. So well done. And well done, you guys. Feel like you've given us all something to laugh about and think about this afternoon. I think Peter kind of raised the point that I was going to say. Just help, be there, help people. And, it doesn't cost a lot. It doesn't take a lot out of your time. And just to sort of touch on, I have a friend at the moment who has, her mum is not well, and she's had to, they said, look, we can't send her home, just going to her home, and she's gone against all of that because that's not what sits right with her. She's moved heaven and earth, and come Monday, her mum moves into another accommodation that is not a home, and it's gonna be everybody having to support her and everything else. So it's not the first, even though that's the first option that they might give you, doesn't mean that you have to take it. And it's up to us to 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 make those sacrifices and make those arrangements that sits
All
well
right.
with yourself and your family. So yeah, people are out there still struggling with the struggle, definitely.
All right.
But
Thank you so much. And once again, thank you so much for your contribution, Mr. Mikey. You did it. You there still? You're asleep. What?
No, I ain't sleeping. I'm listening.
All right. Do you have
Oh
any?
no,
Do you have
I was
any
looking
pop?
at the time myself. No, I was looking at the time, man, because remember, it's my day today. I've got a 2 hour show.
Oh yes.
Not
Sorry.
advertising, but I've
No,
got
no.
a 2 hour
Advertise it.
show.
No, no. Advertise it. Advertise it. When is it?
Oh, I'm on. I play similar to the rest of the DJs here. I think. Um, I play soul music on Rise One for the moment. Which would be at 3 o'clock. So anybody
Okay.
who wants to listen into rise1.com, that should be me. But again, I don't want to. I didn't want to advertise it for one reason, because the seriousness of what we are talking about, and
Nah, nah. Yeah.
the
No, no.
subject
That's
matter
fine.
to me. Okay, the subject matter to me is way important. I mean, yes, I've seen it through, but there are a lot of us that don't know what to do, or are overwhelmed. And if they can, if I think that my contribution to this, if one person hears and gets a little hope through what we've talked about today, that's satisfaction for me alone, to be honest. You know what I mean? um I didn't even know, because Chris is my mate. I didn't know he was going through this until the other day. But
Yeah.
No,
That's
um
that's
that's
the
what it
thing.
is.
That's the
yeah, I
thing.
didn't
There's
know he
there's
was
a lot
going
of
through
people.
this. No, I didn't. And it just goes to show, because we, as in our culture, we the men tend to keep quiet, strong, as they call it. But I think we've reached a stage in our lives where you shouldn't be quiet. You should open up, because although it might be traumatic, but you can have a helping hand going through the situation that you are going through, and people can help. So I mean, I'm glad for it. Hearing all your guys' stories was amazing. Um, and I'm glad to see that some people still think of their parents in that way. You know what I mean? Because at one point I never thought that people do. But I'll say no more. I'll leave it to you, Jahrrell.
No. No. That's it. That's it. Oh, Chris, you want to tell people when you're on? You might as well. Go on, man. Get him.
Really,
Because
really.
it's up to you. You can or you can't. It's up to you.
That's all right. I'll leave that. Don't
All
worry.
right, cool.
About that.
No worries. All right. Well, all right. With that, then, peeps. I'm out of here because they rice and peas in the rice cooker and all them thing they are going. So yeah. So like I said, I don't know when the next one is podcast. That is, yeah. Live stream music wise, probably in a couple of weeks' time, or actually whenever time is getting cold now, so I could jump on whenever now. And like I said, I do have a couple of other podcast topics, and I know one of them. I won't put none of you guys on it because I'll probably do it by myself because we will hate me when I say, but it is what it is. Yeah, it is what it is. But anyway, thanks to everybody who looked on. I hope you was able to get some information out of it. I hope you was to get some comfort out of it. I hope you realise that we as black men, you're not alone. There are many of us going through this situation, and yeah, talk. You know, if it's too much for you at any point, pick up a phone and talk to somebody, because you'd be surprised who's going through it as well. You'd be surprised.
Let's say one more thing, Trevor. Sorry.
Go ahead.
I know we want to go, but we was talking about care homes. Yeah. Not all care homes are bad. Yeah. So I don't want no one to listen to this thinking, oh, you know, because I know we got a stigma about sending our loved ones to a care home. Because rightly so, our first priority should be to look after them ourselves. Yes. But if the situation does arise and there's different situations, then they do have to go to a care home. There's nothing wrong with that. Do not knock yourself or, you know, feel beat up because
the guilt.
You have to send your loved one to a care home. Yeah. The main
there's no shame in it.
Is to keep an eye, is to make sure that you visit them, not just put them in there and walk away. Yeah. I've got relatives in a care home and we make sure we go there and look after them because a lot of the time you go there and there's other elders in there and they have no one visiting them.
I was going to say, well, you always, but that's a good point because what you find is that if you put your loved one in a care home, etc., and you don't show any interest, why should the staff show any interest?
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
the thing is to make sure that you are there for them. Yeah, you don't just plonk them in there and leave them. That's when.
But the thing, I think what it is that, you know, obviously some people, we don't have a choice.
Yeah.
We didn't have a choice with my grandmother. She was on a morphine trip. We couldn't bring her home.
Yeah, that's right.
But we camped out. We took turns in sleeping over at the care home. So I'm not saying anything negative about care homes, even though we see certain things about care. There's no shame in putting your loved one in a care home.
Yes.
It would not be our first choice. And if we could bring them home, we would bring them home. Not everybody is in the situation that you can just bring them to your home. We don't live like that. We are, you know, we don't have 10-bedroom houses and then there's got, you know, 3 bedrooms free. That's not what I'm trying to say. And I don't know if that's what I've put across. And if I have, that's definitely not what I mean. There is absolutely no shame in it, but it would not be our first choice. And in most places in the Caribbean, there's not lots of care homes because that's what we do. We look after when we can. We can't always, but that's the first thing that we would definitely try to do. But we haven't got sometimes we just don't have a choice. And there's, again, even if you go to the hospital, you've got people in beds that don't have visitors. And you always like, hi, how you doing? And, you know, and you pay, you know, I think we all do that naturally. You speak to the person in the bed opposite next door, because now you're seeing them on a day-to-day basis. And, you know, so it just goes without saying, really. But yeah, no, I wouldn't say anything negative about care homes. But it would not be my first choice. And my mum, I think if you speak to your parents, that's the last place they'd want to be.
Yeah.
That's the last place they'd want to be. Put me in the back of the garden before you put in the, you know, they would tell you, you know.
Yeah.
You know, so, yeah, no, definitely.
My mum don't even want to go to hospital, much more care home. She adamant she don't even want to go to hospital.
Yeah.
So.
And our
Okay.
parents
All
can
right.
be very vocal on that, definitely.
Definitely.
Anyway,
Definitely.
guys, have a
Yes.
blessed afternoon. Lovely to
No.
meet you all.
Okay.
No problem. All right. Teach and everybody. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. I'll be, Lord, 6 o'clock. I'll be on. What's the thing called?
The
Max, I can't
spot,
remember
the
now.
spot, the
The
spot.
spot. Yeah, the spot. Thank you, Chris. I'll be on the spot doing another podcast, chatting. Now I'll be chatting a whole heap of foolishness. So I'm gonna say it from disclaimer from now. I'm sorry. It ain't gonna be nothing as serious as this or thought provoking anything like this. I'm gonna say it from now. Disclaimer. I'm sorry. Any foolishness you hear on that, not my doing.
Oh, wow.
Let me say that from now. All right.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Thank you so much, everybody, and yeah, let's call this a day. Thank you for your
Take care.
participation.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
All
Bye,
right, then, Mikey and
everyone.
everybody. Take
Right.
care.
Bye,
Bye bye.
guys.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye
Bye.
bye.
Take care.
Bye bye.
Bye.